Happy Mushoku Mondays, everybody. Welcome back to yet another trek to Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation novel series. We're on volume 1. I'm joking. I wanted to hold up something for this video. No, we are doing a tier list of the entire series. I thought it'd be a great kind of take a break moment, kind of finishing volume 26. Take a break before we get into the side stuff. Do some updated tier lists. I've been kind of promising this for a long time. We did a midway through the series, one at 13, and we were going to do one at 26. And there was a side of me that's like, you know what? Maybe I should wait until I finish the side stuff. And then folks started sending me all the side stuff. And I'm like, it's more than just those like 3 books that I have up there. There is a lot of side stuff. 7 C's. Like, do you not like money? Do you guys just not like money? Like, volume 12 specials. That's an entire volume in itself, and that's gonna be some cooking and some tears. That's gonna be not really cooking. It's just gonna be tears. It's just legit gonna be tears, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also scared at the same time. So I have to say, I at this point almost feel like we have like another 8 volumes of content just from the side stuff. And then of course we still have 3 coming out for redundancy. ODT, I don't know if that's ever going to physical release. I'll probably just do the translations. But either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's so much more to come, so I hope you guys will stick around for all that stuff. But yes, for today, I want to do a tier list of all the Mushoku Tensei. Well, I can show you guys right now. We have all the different volumes. We're going to do all those. It's going to be great to kind of look back and see if any of my perspectives on any of this stuff changes based on what we see later on. Like the significance of something back here might be more significant now that we've kind of read the whole thing. We'll see there. There's like some cases where maybe some of them I might have docked down a little bit just because I felt like it wasn't enough for something and something comes later for it. So we'll see. But of course we also have Best Boy, which yes, I don't have pictures for everything and stuff. That I think there is stuff that have images, but I don't want spoilers. So I just told people, hey, just tell me a name and I'll put them in there. If there's a picture that's spoilery, let me know. I'll just put a name. So I have all these in here as well. And of course, best girls. Gotta get on all the best girls as well. Now, yes, I'm gonna say that there's gonna be some of these characters that I besides the fact that she took upon herself all the magic armor stuff, that's all I know about her. So there's gonna be some characters like Lily and stuff that I don't have any context to. Christina, I don't have any context to. So they're probably just gonna go in a category of like, they're cute, but don't know anything. But I did want to put everything in here just because I got to this point where I was wanting to be like super like perfectionist about it. So I did every single character possible. So some of the stuff's not going to really have anything for them, but I do want to do a full tier list of all this stuff. And again, after all the specials and stuff, we can come back and look at it and do like maybe a live one. I kind of want to do a live one for this tier list, but unfortunately I have way too much stuff going on the airing of Mushoku Monday that morning, and I'll probably be not feeling too well because of what I have to do. So I'm like, no, I'll be lucky if I make it to Mushoku Monday. But the troubling thing is I felt like this was going to be my week off. I'll just do tier list of what's up, and it took so much longer to put together this tier list and put together all the information, all the like outlines and stuff that I need, revisiting them, looking through each one of them, remembering all the moments in the story. Perfectionist. Again, it ended up being a lot more work than I originally thought. But anyways, with all that said, I do want to, before I forget, hey chat, thank you guys so much for dropping by for the premiere. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday after Mushoku Monday. And as per usual, I greatly appreciate your guys' kind words, all your support, sharing this out. It's because of you guys that made this entire trip the amazing thing it is. Like, now that we're pretty much done with the mainline series, and again, we have so much more to go, it's literally you guys that made this what it is, and it has turned into something that I have no words for it. It's just been absolutely incredible. And yes, it just blows me away that there's so many people that have part with their hard-earned money, like people that put a lot of work into earning the money they do, put it towards, supporting this channel and what we do here. But yeah, last week we had Daniel with a membership. Thank you so much. Sergio O'Donnell with a super and 23 months. Thank you. You're almost at 24. We have a new icon for 24. You're almost there. Spud Monkey with 7 months. Thank you. Inferno Taurus the super and 7 gifted membership. Thank you. Bringing those emotes. There was a lot of writing of emotes last week. The Show Guy with a super. Somas with 11 months and 10 gifted memberships. Thank you. Sabana Sue with a gifted membership. Thank you so much. Tommy with a super. Tibsy with 50 gifted memberships. It was going crazy right there. Earthly with a super. Thank you. Noah with a super. Thank you so much. Keely with a gifted membership. Beto with 24 months. There's that 24 mark. He met it. Got it right there. I think that's like maybe our 3rd or 4th one. So it's getting crazy. Bulbous is a super. And then right at the very end there, Gearless with a massive super. Thank you so much, guys. Again, Words cannot express enough how much I greatly appreciate you guys' support. It's just amazing. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys literally are what makes Mushoku Monday what it is. Without you guys, it would just be me being bored reading this by myself. So, yeah. With all that said, we should actually get into it because we have a lot of stuff to go through with this tier list. Again, like I said before, I will be, once we finish this tier list, I'm thinking currently, I want to do Paul. I think next week we will start everything off with Paul. There is Paul Gaiden, and then I think most of the 12-volume specials, I think most of that is Paul's perspective. It's a lot of that stuff I think went with the drama CD itself, which I think a lot of people are familiar with, which is basically Paul's perspective during the entire Hydra fight and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. I think I'm pretty convinced, don't set that in stone, but we'll see. But I only have like 2 days to decide because I literally have to start reading it now. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to set for next week. And again, like I said, there's a lot of little side things that I'm probably going to go through to figure out which direction I want to go through next. And then I think I'll just jump right into redundancy after that. And then we'll go into the 2 stories and then ODT and some other stuff. There's so much. So much. But anyways, let's get into the tier list. Let's kick things off. We got, of course, again, right here, the tier list of the first 26 volumes. I'm going to say first 26 volumes. The mainline series, the 26 volume mainline series. Again, this is going to be tier listing them based on each other, not necessarily tier listing them as if something is a C, it doesn't mean it's a C volume. It's just C compared to an S of the Mushoku Tensei series. The series itself is S tier. Let's just get that out of the way. This is basically S, A, S. That sounds bad. S, B, S, C, S, D. Anyways, let's kick things off with Volume 1, The Beginnings. To give people a rundown of what happens here, of course, we have Rudeus Greyrat, or, well, a guy from Japan, dying and going to another world as Rudeus Greyrat. And that point, kind of growing up there, we meet all the characters, Zenith, Paul, Roxy, Sylphie, Lilia. I think that's pretty much everyone. I get Ginglein at the very end there, I think. But anyways, nice little introduction to the world. And I think it was a really, really solid introduction. I actually really loved... And I'm sorry, but I'm going to be kind of swayed by this mentality, but it is what it is. Of course, I watched the anime all the way up to the end of Season 1 before I started the Mushoku Tensei novel series. So I do have a lot of love for certain volumes because of what it added going into the novel series. Volume 5 and 6 is a prime example of that. They had their own merits anyways, but reading Volume 1 really did open my eyes as to just how much love Refugin had for his characters. Like, seeing just how much detail he wanted to put into characters like Lilia. I think seeing more insights into Lilia was fantastic. I just absolutely love her character, and I think it gave me so much more perspective into the conflicts and really kind of the skewed nature that she is. Additionally, of course, getting Zenith's chapter, which, yes, sort of has a point in the anime, but that was definitely something that kind of cemented her in my heart of like, oh my gosh, go find this girl. Go find Zenith, please, right now. More insight into Paul himself. It's just a good introduction into the world. It takes its time. Like having a full volume to literally just having him as a kid, just chilling and discovering things, not getting into crazy adventure. Like literally it's a whole volume of no like massive adventure. He's at a house. He goes out to the village a little bit, but he's mostly at the house. That's a lot. That's a lot of like respect there for his patience. In the end, it's not incredible though, because we don't have like really big, amazing moments. It's a good jump off point, like either way. So I'm stuck between an S and an A. I think it's a really, really fantastic intro. It's a really fantastic intro, but I will admit it doesn't have any like punch points, like no real massive punch points. I'm going to put it in high A for right now. I might put it into S later. So I'm going to put it in high A just to make sure that I know it might bleed over there. It's a really good start, though. Going to Volume 2. This is a workhorse where we have Rudeus going to train Edis. We have the whole kidnapping plot, which, again, in the novel series, much more fleshed out, that whole sequence there. Even having Edis, like, nearly beat to death twice. Which was kind of like, no, they had him twice? No. Getting her back, the whole birthdays themselves, Edis's birthday, Rudeus's birthday, the dance, all that kind of stuff was fantastic. Learning languages, and then, of course, Turning Point 1, tail-ending it with Giling in the conflict zone. This is one that, honestly, when I watched it, I enjoyed it more than I read it. And I think that's mainly because Volume 2 is a lot of info dump segments, which aren't bad, so to speak, because they are things that I still reference to this day. Because, I mean, they even have the entire history of the world in the textbooks in this moment. And I still reference it to this day, even though we now later on establish a lot of it's just BS. A lot of it is kind of BS. But it's definitely, like, comparatively, especially to, like, Volume 1, it was definitely a pullback. It was definitely a little bit of a pullback. Not bad, but kind of a pullback. So I'm, like, in a low B. No, I'm gonna put it high B. I think we need a middle point. I think this is a good middle point for me overall. I think it's a B for me. Going into Volume 3, this is where, for me personally, we kick off my favorite arc. Though I'm kind of curious if it's really that high for me. This is a problem that I ran into the other day, because I've told people, and I even mentioned in my last Mushoku Monday, my favorite arc overall was definitely post-conflict displacement incident, the travel back to the refugee camp. I think that was like pinnacle, like adventure, discovery, chemistry, everything's there. Like, you have the grumpy Papa, Rejerd. You have this Tsundere Edis that is just super hyper and wants to beat up crap. And you have Rudius trying to keep everything balanced. He literally is, like, the keeper of Dead End. That's, like, his whole thing. The Kennel Master. All that stuff is, like, perfectly encapsulated in that whole segment. And it has some of the greatest moments, like in Melis and whatnot. But when I look back at my old tier list, I reminded me, like, wait, it wasn't. I accidentally put the wrong one there. Okay, I know you're all yelling at me. I'm sorry. I'm putting it there. I grabbed the wrong one, apparently. When I looked back at my tier list that I did a long time ago, it wasn't that high. I don't remember where I put it, but it wasn't that high. And then I started going through my breakdown of what happened in that volume. I'm like, that's right. It wasn't that great of a volume. Like, of course, we had the first visit with the Man God. Cool. Pretty interesting. Meeting Rejerd, going to, the Midgard tribe, which that was interesting, getting a little insight into the Superds and how they, the world itself has established sort of a hate for them, even though it wasn't true. That stuff's kind of interesting. But then it's a lot of Adventure Guild stuff. I forgot just how much of that volume is literally just Adventure Guild stuff. And it's not very interesting Adventure Guild stuff. It's a lot more fleshed out than the anime, of course, because they do a lot more other jobs and whatnot. And the whole segment with Nokopara is much more drawn out and intricate. But I think overall, it wasn't that interesting. Like, it really wasn't. Like, I think the only really good point of it was probably the whole Midgardian tribe and meeting Roxy's family. And then probably, like, the whole very end point where Rejerd, is killing, and Rudius is like, you gotta stop. And then, Edis is, of course, like, I'm following Rudius, so you should stop. Even though she loves Rejerd, she's like, leave him alone. We can do this without you. Like, that's how much Edis was just so focused on following Rudius. But it's not a very interesting volume overall. I'm thinking I'm gonna put this. I think I'm gonna put it my first C. It may be a B. No, I'm still gonna put B, because there is still a lot in the Demon Continent of world building and whatnot. Very low B. I'm going to put this low B right now. Volume 3, low B. But, yeah. Anyways, moving on. I'm going to spend too much time on some of this stuff. Volume 4, we got a lot to go through, so we can't stick too much on this stuff, Andrew. Volume 4. Do I have the right one here? I'm going to zoom in, because I'm going to mess up this stuff more. There. This is better. Volume 4. Volume 4 would be pretty much the third visit with the Man God, going to meet Kishirika, getting the Demon Eye, some little spout with Edis because she's losing now that he has the Demon Eye, the whole smuggling situation. We had the missed connections with Roxy and all the other team at the Windport. Then, of course, we have the whole, freeing the Beast Folk, the whole misunderstanding with the Beast Folks, getting with the Beast Folks themselves, meeting Geese, damn dirtbag Geese. And then going off into the highway off into Midless. And then, of course, we have Guardian Fitz and Ariel's, decline, all that kind of stuff happening over on the side. I did have a lot of fun with this volume. This was a fun volume overall. And again, even though it is the journey to the West, not as juicy as I remember. I do like Kishirika's stuff. The whole stuff with Roxy was fun. I think that I'll put this right above 3, and I think that's good. I think it's a solid B as well. I'm gonna put that in B as well. Volume 5, we have the Holy Country of Milice. Paul. Cliff. Edis the Goblin Slayer. Therese. Ariel's death. Roxy at the Magurdian Village. My gosh. And then to tip it off, we have Randolph. Now that I know how... This is going to be the first one where it's like, yeah, technically right here, this is where I realized just how important Randolph was. How much more funny it is now that I know the context to Randolph. How much better Nanahoshi Dragon Meat actually is. That chapter, I actually want to reread it. I think that'd be a really fun reread now that I know like how cool Randolph was. Like overall how cool he is. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not even going to hesitate. This is going to be S tier. This is literally... Was this the first one I cried in? I want to say this is probably the if I was trying not to, if I was not trying not to look cool in my recordings, this would have been probably the first time I cried. No doubt in the Mushoku Mondays. My gosh, Volume 5 is easily one of the best volumes of the entire series. It just has everything in it. It still has a little bit of adventure in there. It still has that discovery aspect there, but it has family. It has Rudius himself having like internal conflicts with his past life still. It's like that the old memories are dredging up still at this point. We have so much insight into it's the realization point to the displacement incident and how impactful it was. This would be a really cool one if I would have been able to go into Volume 5 without having watched the anime. Because this was an eye-opening experience. Yes, technically we have a little bit with Roxy going to the refugee camp. But this literally is the moment where Paul says, "What have you been doing? Everything's gone. It wasn't just you. Everything gone. The entire Fatoa region is gone. And what have you been doing?" I loved reading the novel more than the anime because it gave us Paul's perspective before they had the spout. Thus, I had like this... Whereas I think in the anime, I had a little bit of a flipped difference as to what I felt about who was in the right in that room. They're both wrong. Who was in the right in that room. It literally felt like I understood Paul so much more going into his perspective before that. If I remember correctly, the novel does his perspective before they have the spout. Either way, it's such an incredible moment. And then having the whole later part, Rudius himself literally vomiting, fearing to go back in that room and address it. All that stuff building up. Getting the little extras, again, not being in the anime, the dinner with Nora and all that kind of stuff, trying to reestablish connections with him was fantastic. All that stuff was great. Like, everything around Paul, reconnecting with him was chef kiss. Absolutely beautifully done. Like, this was probably if I think about it. Yeah, this volume is the first moment that I stand and literally say, Refugin, absolute cinema. Like, this is it is a defining volume. It is a defining volume of the Mushoku Tensei series. I absolutely love it. It has everything in it. And yeah, throw in Edis having fun off to the side and just, her little thing with Cliff, having that off the side. And then probably one of the biggest WTF moments. Like, I kind of am miffed at the whole situation with Norn and the dinner and all that stuff being skipped, but it's fine. It doesn't break things. But skipping Therese, that was a missed opportunity. I can't even imagine like the shock value from that. Like how many react videos that would have if they had in the anime. They go to Duke Bakshill, they go in that room. He's doing his little like thing about like this demon here. Get out of here! I'm not helping you demons out. Having a fun little moment there with the back and forth between Rudius and Edis trying to win this guy over and show him how important Edis is. And then having literally somebody walk in that door that looks just like Zenith. And how that would just be like the most react thing. Like, we're traveling, Paul's over here like wrecked, and Zenith's over here? Like, it would be a WTF moment. Like, this, I knew, that's the second thing when I read Volume 5, I knew that she wasn't there. But, like, for, like, the anime onlys, if that point came up, it would have been, like, the hugest WTF moment. They missed that opportunity. Anyways, yeah, and then like Vera and Sharon, Mike, there's so much good stuff in this freaking volume. Yeah, the anime missed the whole Sharon and Vera thing. It's just chef kiss. Volume 5, S tier, easy. Anyways, moving on. I can't get. And then we go right in the second S tier. This is yeah. I don't even have to think about it. This has always been, I think. Yeah, I think this is literally. I fight between volume 5 and 6. Volume 5 and 6 are, I think, literally my favorite volumes of all time of the series. Volume 6, I don't remember. I think I fought with myself before on this before. I don't remember which one I chose. They're equally amazing. So Volume 6, of course, we have a little... The very beginning of Volume 6 is pretty meh. It's like traveling through the Dragon King realm, all that kind of stuff, you know, not that important. But then it goes like right into, okay, now go into Sharon. We're going to get Aisha, getting into that whole stuff. And now that, again, this is another one. Now that I have perspective on Zenoba, it makes this so much more different. We get to beat Best Boy Zenoba. You know, first meet with Pax, the dirtbag. All that stuff is happening there. You know, getting a little bit into Aisha and Rudius's, you know, controversial or not, getting into the idea of how Rudius himself sees his sisters different. Any other time, seeing this girl in front of me, I would have been, let's face it, turned on. But here, I don't feel it. He doesn't understand why. Why? Again, it's that whole, like, that look into literally his mindset. His mindset and how it just works different now in this new world. He doesn't see perverted when he sees her in there. Any other time, this is a dream for him. Like in his past life, this is a dream for me. Don't feel it now. Why? It's weird. Anyways, that aside, Lilia's perspective, which unfortunately anime skipped, all that stuff was fantastic. But it's all boils down to, for me personally, of course, Turning Point 2. Orsted's appearance. Amazing sequence. That whole segment there, just how absolutely he just flips the entire script. Orsted literally brings somebody who we've seen as OP this entire time, Rejered, down to his knees without even flinching. Boom, down. Rudius has no protection. He's fearful, yet that whole aspect of him trying to survive, trying to fight back, trying to at least save Edis so she can get home, all that stuff. Dying, going into the whole man-god conversations, talk about the curses and stuff like that. It's just, it flips the absolute script of the entire world. It shatters things. It's a shatter moment. I love these moments where it just takes everything you know and you're comfortable with and it just shatters it. Refugin does so well at that stuff. And then that just goes right into parting ways with Rejered, the whole situation with Edis, her parting ways. And yes, the second anime WTF moment, Edis' perspective. God, I love that whole segment. That whole segment was amazing, dude. Seeing all the conflict, this... Up until that point, Edis is just a tsundere. She's a Genki, energetic, violent tsundere. And then the perspective comes up and everything shifts. All of what I thought about this character completely changes. Which was more equally interesting because there was so much discussion about how Edis was nasty for what she did to Rudius. Really, really nasty. And unfortunately, the same thing happened for Sarah, but not to this extent. I don't know if people remember, but when anime aired that episode, that segment, people were furious with Edis. Now, granted, there's some novel readers that still this day think that she is the worst girl in the world for what she did to Rudius. Oh my gosh, the whole Edie arc is because of her. Again, this is a young girl. She was scared. She was clamoring to keep a hold of Rudius for so long, looking up to him, constantly afraid that she'd be left behind, discarded, holding him back, realizing at some point, I'm holding him back. I need to get stronger because he's going to fight that guy again. And she screwed up. Plain and simple. And it's so funny how forgiving people are for Rudius as a character, saying how disgusting he is and trying to forget. I'm actually getting into a character review right now. It's this moment right here. How forgiving people are of Rudius' character and saying that of course he made mistakes. The story is about him fixing things. Edis makes one mistake, a very grave mistake. People do not want to forgive her. But that chapter really did open my eyes to her as a character, how afraid she was, and what her perspective actually was. She's not the smartest person in the room, but she's trying. And what she's doing, following this, is sacrificing years of her life for one goal, to help him. That's all she wanted to do. Yes, Rudius took it wrong, but that's unfortunately because Rudius is who he is. It's very untrusting. He jumps to conclusions. So it's kind of both their fault kind of situation. Anyways, we're not doing that stuff yet. We're not doing that stuff yet. Yeah, easy S tier. Absolutely freaking love that chapter. My God, that volume is such a phenomenal segment. Again, I can't put them up against each other. I kind of want to put 6 above 5, but they're kind of equal. Anyways, we got more to go through, Andrew. Move on. Volume 7, I'm not even going to take much time on this. This is probably easily one of the weakest volumes of the entire series. I like what it was doing. It was a nice breather after 6, for sure. But it's just him being broken. I like the whole segment at the very beginning of him, again, going back to the relic. Reestablishing what Roxy sort of pushed him out there. Reestablishing that I have a purpose to kind of move towards. Pushing ahead. Yes, falling back down with the ED. Soldat's moment was incredible. That's like the pinnacle point right there. Like the only really amazing moment in the series is literally, Soldat. Soldat in the brothel. Like Soldat was so absolutely incredible in that whole segment. I fell in love with him. The dude's great, but it's still C. Volume 8. This is where, of course, we have Ellen Elise showing up. First meet with Ellen Elise with Rudius. The letter to the university. We get the man god visiting to go to the university. Research the displacement incident. Manhood fixed. He's got his regrets. He meets Zenoba. He can't do that. They end up, buying Julie. We have the whole kidnapping of Lenny and Persona. Rockasi moment. Then Bodyguardi's leaving the ogre tribe to go over there. And then we have a Julian Manners chapter. Again, not a great chapter. It's just an introduction to the university. There's some good moments in there, especially Julie. Like, if it weren't for the Julie segment in there, I think it would probably be a D. But the Julie segment was absolute gold. I just love that aspect of, again, do you want to die? I don't want to pull you back into this. Again, trying to put her into his shoes when he really shouldn't have. He's assuming she's just like me. I see those eyes. I see them in the mirror. She's probably like me. I'm not going to push her. Maybe she can hopefully have the same luck I did. Which, by the way, now after volume 26, Rudius, that would have been horrible. Because again, the question mark is what is the mechanics of this world? Is it like a, again, rebirth aspect where you die and your soul just goes into another, baby in order to be born? No, literally it's a world where your mana, your body just turns into mana and disperses into the life stream and will collect into other mana to make something new. Like, there's no aspect of the person starting over. Rudius is an anomaly coming from the outside, coming in. A pre-established soul coming in. Whereas in this world, it seems like when you die, your soul just disperses into billions of bits. So yeah, that would have been bad for you. Anyways, volume 7 or 8 is going to C again. Shrug. It's a good introduction to the academy, but not my favorite. Volume 9. Volume 9 is where we have Cliff Grimoire talk about his life up until now, how he likes Ellen Elise. So we got that whole meeting of the two of them. We get the Beast Folk and Heat, which was a funny little bit there. I had a lot of fun with that whole segment there. Then Nanahoshi. This was the big moment right here, because we're in the category right now where we're getting into stuff that I had not experienced yet. Again, starting from volume 7, this is all new to me coming into it because season 2 had not aired yet. So I'm all fresh on this stuff. The whole segment with Nanahoshi was incredible. That was absolutely incredible getting into that stuff because it really does highlight Refugion's ability again to break stability. We kind of figure out we know what's going on and then it breaks everything. But more so the idea of how Nanahoshi herself was such an opposite to Rudius. This was an opposite, somebody that did not want to be there. I don't like this world. It rejects me. I don't want it. I don't want it. I want to get away from it. I want to go back home. I have stuff home. He's like, no, I don't want to leave. I like it here. That stuff was absolutely incredible. Going into the whole situation with Sylphie, of course, being pushed by Ariel. Get the Luke juice involved. Get the whole cave segment. The whole, in his apartment moment. Getting the little side stories of Sylphie herself. All that stuff. And then, of course, getting into Edis arriving at the Sword Sanctum. Now, the big key thing... Yeah, Nina going to the university as well. The big key thing here... And Bodyguardi arriving here, too. That's that, too. The big key thing here is how much I loved this segment more than I did the anime. I think the anime absolutely dropped the ball because I had way too much fun. I'm sure the chat had fun, too. I had so much fun trying to figure out who Fitz was. And I was really adamant about the fact that by volume 10 or 11, I so wish that Fitz was a different character. I so wish that for Fujin got into an idea of literally Sylphie splitting into two or something like that. Something like that. Like they're literally being an actual Fitz character. Because I think a Fitz character would have been so freaking cool. Because I do really feel like Sylphie and Fitz were so different. And that's obviously for a reason. She changed so much. But I had so much fun trying to figure that out. That watching the anime, this is so much different. Just being, it's clear from the beginning. It's Sylphie. Like we're not going to bother making it a secret. It was so much more fun to kind of figure out how these two were different. And I know that's obviously what Fujin was doing. Obviously why they were joking about trying to keep it separate. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. I think, is it B? The Cliff stuff was great. The Beast Folk stuff was fun. Bodyguard was pretty solid. Is it B for me? I'm gonna put it in high B for right now. It might go up to, well, see, I have this one right here too. Okay, I'm gonna move. I'm moving two up. I'm moving two up. No, I'm keeping it down here. I'm gonna keep it down here for now. These two right here, 9 and 2, are gonna stay right here. But I think I might move one up to here after a while. Volume 10. Volume 10. We have in my notes here. We have the marriage with Sylphie. We have the haunted house, the automatons, the party. That's where Ellen Lease has her little breakdown moment. We get a little bit of insight into, Ellen Lease and her past, all that kind of stuff, and all of her children. We get the letter from Paul about sending the sisters. We get Nanahoshi's failure and her breakdown. Getting into Cliff, Zenoba helping out Nanahoshi. We have Norn, Aisha's arrival with Rajerd. A little conversation with Rajerd himself. Some little misunderstandings about Edis that Rajerd tries to point out. And then we could jump over to Edis for a brief moment where she is being trained by the North Emperor. And then we also have Rajerd's travels with Norn and Aisha itself. This is pretty much probably one of the weakest volumes. I think mostly around the fact that so much preparation with the marriage. I think that stuff was just blah. Like the house, building the house, all that kind of stuff did not work out for me. I did really, 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 really love Ellen Lease's moment there at the party. Was just heartbreaking. I think that was really like the first moment a lot of that stuff about Ellen Lease really started connecting with me. Now, granted, I started kind of seeing her more than just the elf that always wants to bang that was kind of established before he meets her up here, and we learn about the curse. And then we go over here, that's where we find out Ellen Lease as a grandmother. Like back here, it's like, yeah, she just wants to bang. Here, it's like, oh, she has a reason for it, but she says that she likes it anyways. And then here, it's literally like, here is what it's caused me. Here is the destruction it literally has caused me in my entire life. That's where it really gets interesting. And Nanahoshi's breakdown was fantastic. I love Rajerd and a travel with Nora and Aisha. So it's like 3 segments, an entire very long, kind of boring volume. I think C. Another C. Really high C, though. Really high C. Compared to these ones, really high C. Now, volume 11, we have dealing with Aisha and Norn. Norn and Aisha going to school. Aisha struggling with being seen as a stain. Ginger and Zenoba, that whole situation there. Lenny and Persena get the Ponsu. Norn's past and her struggles was so freaking good. Oh my gosh. Here's like all this stuff before this is like, okay, good. Aisha's struggling. You're kind of like, yeah, getting good. And then the Norn stuff kicks in. And all the stuff that she had to deal with, going right into her being shut in. Rudius connecting with her was just so freaking good. Getting the letter from Geese, obviously. Then we go right into Norn pushing him to go. Nanahoshi helping him out. All the goodbyes. Going right into the Bagrat continent. The succubus. And traveling around with Ellen Lace, which was super freaking good. Volume 16 is like, it sold me on Ellen Lace. And it sucks the anime skipped all of it. The whole segment with the warriors of the Bagrat continent and all that kind of stuff was super good. I think this is a solid A. There's just too much. This is a good mix. 11's like the most, like, since like 5 and 6, and we kind of left the adventure stuff for so long. I think volume 11 is like where we get a reestablishment of that. Like a nice combination of slice of life, goofy moments, adventure, character developments, crazy deep drama points for characters. Norn's segment's like a huge part of why I think that's a good solid A. Maybe in the A- area, but it's still like a solid A. It's good stuff. Volume 12. Volume We're not. We're gonna sit here and fight over it right now. It's S. It's easy S. Easy freaking S. The whole Rudius coming there, seeing Paul broken, going straight into Roxy being trapped, trying to save her, going into the intricacies of the labyrinth itself, which is so super fascinating. How much depth he put into labyrinths, and that's where you really start to see it. Going into the fights in there, the struggles in there. Really Paul trying to show off the Rudius, going right into the secret of the labyrinth itself, fighting the Hydra, losing Paul, and then everything after that, which really feels like things just freaking break. Rudius freaking breaks again. He failed the second time. Once again, second time, second life, made the same mistakes a second time. I love that quote. Same mistakes, second time. And then, yes, finding out that Zenith is broken, absolutely gut punched me. Very personal for me. It just hurts. I think this was easily like the most crying I think I did in any Mushoku Monday, up to that point at least. I know that later on, especially with Zenith later on, hurt me. But there's just so much breaking happening here, and it was very personal for me, having lost my father, and having dealt with dementia and all that kind of stuff. It hurts. That whole segment hurts. And then seeing how Roxy kind of pulled him out of that darkness was absolutely fantastic. I was extremely conflicted on Roxy joining as a wife. I'm happy for them, but I at that point I was very conflicted on even the idea of her even becoming a part of a harem. This idea of Rudius breaking away from Sylphie, being the one and only, and having a harem. It's fine, and I'm not against it. It was just, and if I wanted to really kind of break it down, I didn't feel like I wanted it to happen, but I was happy in the end. Obviously, if everybody's happy at the end. It's their choice, their life, kind of decision there. And of course, I love Roxy, so I want her to be happy. But yeah, this was some fantastic stuff. And then, of course, going back home, the struggles of going back home. Like, even after getting back on his feet, it was still a struggle getting back home. And then, of course, having the Paul's grave at the very end. It was incredible. Like, getting the end, I think it's just like a nonstop, just well-paced, extremely well-paced volume. It just does not let up. Super good. Volume 13. Volume 13 is where we have Roxy joins as a professor. We have Reese going to his third year, training Norn, Aisha getting her Groot, getting the Luke Juice Groot. Rudius, man, I just realized that we never ever got the answer. Did she make it's probably in a side chapter. Shut up, chat. It was probably in a side chapter somewhere. It's gonna be Aisha making the Luke Juice. But anyways. Hydra scale, the using the Hydra scales, Rudius kind of having this moment being a father, Rudius becoming Water King, has some fun little moment between, essentially Sylphie and Roxy talking about who was first, who won or whatever. That was kind of a cute little segment there. Getting his threesome, yay. The party, Norn and Aisha's party. Oh, I cried so much there. I remember correctly, I cried so much there. Norn and Aisha's party was just, gut punch, especially because Paul couldn't be there. Damn it. Anyways, the Renoan Princess and Sarah's party coming back, that whole segment there, which was okay. Yeah, all right. I like seeing the girls being all thirsty for Roxy. Anyways, then the summoning of the watermelon was like the very end there. And yeah, Lindy and Priscilla doing their graduation duel. Norn joined the student council. And then, yeah, I think at the very end there, seeing like some bit with Edison, Isolde, and Raida and all them. So, I think with this one, I think the whole segments with Roxy and Sylphie are great. Cliff marrying Ellen too, I forgot about that. The party was really phenomenal. But now that I look back, I think comparing it to all these other ones, I think it's a B. I think we're finally moving 2 up. We're not going to move up 9 yet, but I think we're going to finally have something bump up from this. I need to zoom out again. This is it's getting difficult to line them up in here right now. Yeah, I think that's good. I want to put that one right here, and I want to bump up 2. I think it's a solid high B. It's not like to the caliber of anything else up here, so that's where I'm gonna put it. Move faster, Andrew. We gotta get through these faster. 17, we have meeting Petagoose, because of course we did the watermelon, so we gotta go meet Petagoose, do the next steps of her training. Ellen Lace's history, which was, oh my gosh, that was I wasn't expecting that, but yes, give it to me. Give me everything, all that information. Then we have Nanahushi getting sick, which was another absolute gut punch moment. Going off to Kishirika, or the Demon Continent again to get the tea. Meeting Kishirika again, fighting off Etov. And then Aldius? Question mark? And then Edis becoming the Sword King? There's so much good stuff in here. I want to say an A. I want to say A. Because there's some major, like Nanahoshi especially, absolutely gut punched me like crazy. And yeah, of course, the Turning Point 4 was kind of a mind break as well. Etop was pretty fantastic. Yeah, I think I'm pretty solid on giving this like a high A. Yeah, I'm high A. Easy high A. Easy high A. Maybe S. Really good. Again, another good mixture of solid content in there. Volume 15, The Future Diary, getting the mission to go kill Orsted, Nanahoshi's hypothesis, which was pretty freaking... Let's admit, looking back, I kind of wanted to go back and read it again, but pretty on point. Like, it's literally pretty on point. Like, it implies the idea that somebody specifically sent her to do this. And it kind of gave me a feel that she was supposedly there and sent back, but it was more of an idea that somebody kind of shifted back to there and then needed something to go in there to break things, and she got caught up in it. So, it's pretty on point, though. And yeah, technically it's not that she needed Rudius, but Rudius did, again, end up being sort of something that did end up shifting things. In the end, he shifted it. He just kind of wandered in there, but he shifted it. But anyways, Nanahoshi's hypothesis, we have Edis getting the letter so she can rush over to help out. We have the whole preparation for the fight against Orsted, the fight against Orsted itself, which was pretty damn epic. Edis showing up, which was even more so epic, and I can't wait to see that in the anime. And then at that point, really kind of choosing what to do with Edis, because he was really worried about how to kind of confront her, and then eventually having the duel and accepting her, which I thought was really super cute. Then Orsted having the big, massive info dump, which completely break everything again. Every time Orsted opens his mouth, it breaks everything. And then at the very end there, having Edis kind of find her place. Okay, two sides of this. I think I'm pretty comfortable S. I think I'm pretty comfortable S, but I will admit, and this is just me personally, I wasn't claiming this was a wrong thing here, because I know a lot of the chatters really hated my coverage of this segment, because the entire time I was frustrated with Rudius, and it was a good thing, because I think it's a thing that needed to happen. The entire time that was happening here, Rudius was acting stupid. He was acting really dumb about the whole situation with the Man God and Orsted. My whole point there was that, okay, so you just heard the Man God wants you dead, and now he wants you to kill Orsted. That your future self said to not trust the Man God, and then now you're going to go kill Orsted based on the Man God, because if you do that, he's going to somehow leave you alone. My whole point there was like, no, he's not going to leave you alone. He's still going to kill you, because you're still a threat. So I was like really frustrated with Rudius the entire time. Then Hoshi trying to give him sort of an out, saying, no, I kind of see it like this. Like, I'm seeing this hypothesis here. And he completely ignores it. So I was extremely frustrated with Rudius that entire time. But that's not a bad thing. It's not like I'm saying I'm frustrated with Rudius, thus Refugium was wrong to write him that way. It's not me saying that. It was a frustration because I wanted to smack some sense in it. I wanted somebody to smack some... Orsted, thank you for smacking some sense into him. Fighting best boy Orsted, Rudius, you piece of garbage. But yeah, I think I'm pretty comfortable with it in there. There's just so much good stuff in here. And it's just an epic little conclusion to it, so... And Edis finally joining the crew, which is really super cute. So yeah, that's an easy S probably for me. 16. Gosh dang, we're go faster, Andrew. Faster, Andrew. We have the whole thing with Ariel that, Orsted says, get Ariel there. We have him summoning the Sacred Beast. Luke asking to pretty much for Rudius' aid when Ariel. A lot of sussy Luke moments. Eventually kind of revealing things to Sylphie and all that kind of stuff. The Library Labyrinth, which was pretty good. Getting some, I think a lot of the books they were kind of looking into was kind of interesting, like the Blessed Child and stuff like that. I know that a lot of this stuff, I think most of this volume was light novel original. Getting some little extra insights into things like the Blessed Childs and stuff like that was cool. Eventually getting the answer that she needed from, yes, Derek Redbat. Derek Redbat himself, just kind of laying it all out there. And then, yeah, going right back into confronting Petagoose about it, and then traveling to the Astral Kingdom. And then, yeah, Ghislaine and Elace's little chapter there, which was really, really good. Oh, that guy. I'm being reminded of the whole scene with Ghislaine and her conversation with Elace. Like, gut punch me. See, this is an easy. I don't even have to hesitate on it. See, I think overall, not much great things in there. Nothing like super to chew into. It was fun. Like the labyrinth, all that kind of stuff was really fun. The slime down there was really cool and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the sticky was it? I think I was implying it was a sticky. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, 17. I want to say that this was one that I was really conflicted with because yes, they go to Asra. They have the first fight with Aber and Wita as they're going there. Eventually, Orsted meets with Luke does his whole thing, and Orsted meets with Ariel. We had the birth of the Piss Princess, basically. Then they get the route to Astra. They go to the secret path with Tristina. They go to the Astra Kingdom itself. God, this is like a lot in this whole volume. Ariel's battle. We have Luke messing up. Orsted coming in and one-shotting Rhaeda. That whole segment was freaking epic, by the way. Then going right into fighting Auber. That whole situation there, nearly losing Edis. Going right into Orsted revealing all the loops to Rudius because he, can trust him now. Going home, finding out that apparently Rudius told Roxy that her belly button's the best. And then the worst chapter at the very end there with Geese meeting with the man god, where it all started, where everything that was wrong with this entire series started happening was with Geese meeting the man god in volume 17. I struggle with this one because it has so many great moments in it, but at the same time, so many kind of rough points. If I highlight the ones that are great moments in this one, like I think the fight with Auber initially was a really good, interesting fight because that was like starting to like throw up some alarm bells on what North God is. And I thought Wita even himself was very crafty. It was a very crafty little fight sequence they had with there. The whole segment with Orsted meeting with Ariel, I think, was fantastic and funny at the same time, but fantastic is there as well. Then you have the travels are kind of blah. Tristina, like the beginning with the Tristina is not that interesting. And then going into Astra Kingdom, going through the streets, the quick fight, which was okay. The fight with the Wita again in the streets was okay. And then going right into Ariel's battlefield. Ariel's battlefield was probably like the best point of the volume because I think that was really well played out. And again, going right into Orsted, just messing up Rhaeda, which was fantastic. Pettigew's coming in there, which was fantastic. So that segment, Ariel's battlefield right there, which I would call that the moment that they opened the doors to that place to the very end, the moment that Rudius leaves to go get Auber, that battlefield right there was fantastic. When they come back to the battlefield, it's cheesy, but everything else in there is really fantastic. But I think like everything else in this volume isn't that great. So I'm stuck between it's definitely not going to A. I like immediately like put it alongside these ones. Like, no, I can't put it in A. I would put it like high B, but not beating 9 because again, 9's like struggling to get into A category as well. So we'll put it right there. Volume 18. I can already tell by the volume cover this was not a good one for me. I could already tell from the volume cover this was not a good one for me. As much as I love Linnea, the maid Linnea moments and the whole like goofy stuff with her trying to get braggers and stuff is great, but still. But yeah, we open up this one with 18 with let's see, saving Anji. So it's like when we first start beginning the Orsted Corporation stuff, which Andrew will not shut up about how I think that was really kind of the shift point for the overall series that I was kind of afraid of. But yeah, it's beginnings. It was a fun little segment. I think Angie's little segment was great. Buying Linnea, the whole situation with Nor and the student council speech, going off into Cliff developing the helmet, Zenoba doing his continuous researches with the armor. Yeah, Julie having her first. That whole walk in there. I still remember that stupid walk in. Zenoba, why'd you put your hands on her? Master, stop messing around. Help me. Zenoba has no clue what the hell to do. But he's trying, though. He's trying so hard. Anyways, Aisha starting up the mercenary band. With that whole segment, I still to this day I'm so conflicted with him pushing that on her. But yeah, going to the Dolia Village again, then going right into freeing Julie, which that was a gut punch moment. Oh my gosh. And then Zenoba getting the letter from Bax. Yeah, I mean, besides maybe just like the beginning segments of like some moments of Linnea being the maid, which I thought was kind of funny. Some great moments with Julie. Oh my gosh, the moments with Julie in this volume. That's it. I literally think that's it. I was super conflicted with everything with Aisha, but it's cool. It's like the birth of the mercenary band. But so me looking back, I see the significance of Aisha and the mercenary band now. But I think overall, it kind of, the volume overall just still doesn't get lifted up. I think it's another C. I'll put high C though. Yeah, I put it high C still though, because the Julie stuff and stuff were just so good, so good. Anyways, 19, Zenobia goes to Sharon. We have pretty much. I was thinking of immediately throwing it into S tier. There's something. What was it? I seem to remember there was something about this that was holding it back, and I can't remember what it was. Let me check. Yeah, I had it A. I put in my doc for 19A. Something held it back. What held it back, Andrew? Because so we have Zenobia wanting to go to Sharon. We have Rudius setting up his party. At that point, we have like the whole thing with like, Lada essentially pushing Mama. Go on, Mama. Of course, we have him going to there. Orsid mentions the fact that he's very important. You know, we got to save Pax. I got to go off to the Dragon King realm. We have Petagoose having his frustration with Zenobia going there, but still he helps them with allowing, Rox to go through. They go there, they meet Pax, they meet Benedict. They meet Pax, they meet Randolph. Then they get sent off to Fort Karan. That's where we pretty much have, Roxy helping him out with the idea of taking a life. She seems okay with it because she's had to do it before in the past. Rudius finally has to take his first lives, a lot of lives. How that kind of affects him. Him thinking that, Zenobia's dead, but no, he shows up back and he's amazing. So they rush back over to Pax. They find out that pretty much everything has been taken over. The anger of Pax trying to stop him falling, Zenobia with his regret and really kind of getting into his mind and how he regrets a lot of not, talking to his brother. He now understands the importance of family. Yeah, Roxy having to get picked back up on her feet and then going back to home. Zenobia joining the Orsted Corporation. Orsted nearly giving up, which was very interesting as well. Rudius' failure. Him realizing that it's okay to be happy. And then, yes, that little brief chapter of Randolph, Pax, and Benedict. I don't know why I put it A. Was it just the pacing was off, maybe? All I can think of is the pacing was off. There's so much good stuff in there. Like my list for it's long. There's so much good stuff in there. Why'd I put it A? I'm putting an S. And it's funny because I remember people were saying that I would put it S. And I was like, I know why you guys are saying that because Roxy's, in the party. Like but she only had like 2 segments. So I thought you people are crazy. I don't know why I put it A. I'm going to go back and check my recording for the last chapter and really get my mindset there. There had to have been something that frustrated me. Maybe because I just didn't find Pax as interesting as everybody else felt that he was. But it did gut punch me in the end, and it was a lot to do with Zenobia. I love the volume for Zenobia. Anyway, I'll check it later. I'm puzzled as why I put it A. Maybe because it's just hard to put it up against these. That's probably what it is. Because if I think about what else is in A or S tier, it's hard to say it competes with these. I'm leaving it there for now. So in the end, chat's going to be right. They're going to be like, we told you it's S. We told you it was S. You were being tsundere and put it in A back there. That's funny. Anyways, volume 20. We have in volume 20, this was a frustrating one. Yeah, I'm looking at the cover. It is a frustrating one. I was not a big fan of a lot of, especially the beginning segment of 20 because, well, it's the beginning of Millis. Volume 20 is the first half. 21 is the second half. The problem with 20 is the fact that it's a lot to build up. It's a lot of frustration. It's Cliff getting the letter. He's deciding to go. We have the Zenobia store stuff going on. We have Cliff, Norn, and the Wraith, which I think was the best chapter, of that entire volume. I love that chapter so much. And him going back to Hell Laser saying, she ain't interested in you. She not into you, boy. Anyways, their graduation, Nina visiting Asra, Ariel's coronation, that whole thing. Norn and Aisha's coming of age, which I thought was really good. Oh, so good. The Paul bust and the Midgard pendant for Aisha, really starting to build up the beginnings of Aisha being conflicted, which now that I think about it, they never really did much with. That's got to be side chapter stuff. That's got to be side volume stuff. Again, we're going to go through these and I'm going to start realizing, wait, we never got into this whole thing. Whatever happened with that whole thing? I mean, it sort of gets answered in a way, because she comes, it kind of gives a sense that she kind of accepts what her role is, which is, this is what she wants to do. She wants to do this stuff with the mercenary band. But for the longest time, it kept kind of pushing this idea that she wasn't feeling like she had friends. Like she wasn't fitting in. Like, yeah, she was too much of a boss. She's too pushy. All that kind of stuff. Anyways, going off to Milshin, Aisha's confliction, Millis and Geese, dirtbag. Meeting the Latrias, which I think that whole beginning segment was super good. Oh, I freaking got so angry. So angry. Meeting the Pope, losing Zenith, meeting Therese and the Blessed Child, which was pretty solid. Yeah, this is a C, because the only parts that were like super good in this whole segment, and I'm recalling my exact words, if I remember correctly, back then I was really pointing on the idea that I remember Norn and Cliff's little chapter was super good. Even the whole Wraith thing was really interesting, and a little bit of the conflict that Aisha's having, and the outburst with Claire, like the only good parts in it. So that's a C. Again, a high C. I would put it underneath 18, easy, because I think 18's got a lot more better moments in it. But yeah, I think a C. And then we have 21. 21 was chasing down Geese, facing off against Claire, the Pope meeting before going to kidnap Blessed Child herself, going into fighting the Keepers of Anastasia, meeting with the church leaders, essentially Cliff, best boy, standing up and freaking telling Rudius, dude, wake up. And does the scripture not say? Is it not written that? I love that stuff. That was such a great moment for him, dude. Cliff was so freaking amazing in that volume. Oh my gosh, dude. I liked him before, but that was like, I fell in love with the boy. I fell in love with Cliff so hard right there. Anyways, Cliff, we have of course, the Blessed Child with Zenith, which was like heartbreaking. Geese's letter, of course, Edis and the Blessed Child little moment there, which I thought was super cute. Therese and Dustbin, and then Geese with Galfalion. Much better than Volume 20, that's for damn sure. There's two really good moments in this volume, and if I remember correctly, I didn't much care for the entire like first half of this. Like building up to the meeting wasn't that great, but definitely the very end there with Cliff standing up and the Zenith slap and going right into the Blessed Child and her seeing into Zenith's mind. It broke me. It broke me. And Edis with the Blessed Child was cute too. So like there's like 3 good segments in this entire volume that's holding it up. So it's like otherwise a C volume, but it has like like 3 S tier moments in it that tries to pull it up to like an A. How's my A looking? I'm gonna put an A. I know this guy right here is like he's wanting to get up there. But I think this is going to cut line and say, no, we're good. You can stay there. I think we're going to put that right there. Yeah, I'm going to put an A. If for anything but Cliff and the Blessed Child / Zenith moment, like those 2 moments right there, like if you pull those 2 chapters out, it'd be S tier. It's just there's a lot of beginning moments that kind of, it brings it down so much for me. Oh my gosh, I was so frustrated with Rudius there, and I understand him. Again, this is just like this volume. I understand that he's just not in his right mind, but god dang, of all the stuff. But again, it comes down to, when does Rudius again, I love this consistency. And I get frustrated with him all the time. But I love this consistency that Refugian has with Rudius' character. Rudius acts the most irate and illogical whenever it involves family. It involved family. Not him. He never cares if it's himself. It's the moments that it involves his family, he acts irate and illogical sometimes, especially when it's very dire. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. And that was another one I think people were saying that I was going to put S to begin with. What did I put it before? I put it B+ before. So I was in the realm of A. I was like, it almost gets to A. So it's the same. So I'm glad I didn't put an S anyways. Probably another one I think that people wanted me to put S in tier to begin with. Volume 22. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Volume 22, we have reporting to Orsted what happened with the whole situation in Milshin. We have the King Dragon Realm and Randolph going there, meeting the king. We go then over to meet Ariel, where we meet Doga and Sander. Now that we know that now, Sander. Good job, chat. I knew that the chat did so well in keeping shut up about that. I know they probably went so badly to tell me who that person was. Though I'm sure, Earthly and Adrian had to delete so many messages there. Anyway, Sander, we have then meeting with King Stelvio. Then we have the gift for Benedict, which was like super heartwarming. Zenoba, best boy right there. We go to Roxy and Edis cooking, and Edis asking her to learn Demon Tongue. We then go to Fort Necross, where we fight against Etoph. Have the little Princess Rudius moment. Roxy and Edis fighting side by side, which was super freaking great. Then we talk about Etoph's father and the legacy that he technically didn't leave behind, that she was searching for. Going into Roxy, leaving Lada with the parents. Gut punch. When I was making this outline and I was just trying to get the bullet points, I scrolled past that moment. I was like, oh, what's this? What was the We're Getting Married volume or whatever? We got married. And I scrolled through then when I realized what the chapter was about, before I even got to the image, I started welling up. It was such a good moment. And again, I'm so glad that Sylphie has a similar situation. I love how both of them have a very similar situation that they're going through. Well, they almost make a massive decision because of their own traumas. It's super cool. Anyways, then we have Sieg's birth, which then Petagoose summons him, and then Geese recruits Alec. This one I wasn't too impressed with. I think a lot of the stuff around the King Dragon Realm, as much as I love Stelvio, and I love the moment where Benedict gets the gift from Zenoba, the entire first half feels like it's all right. It's all right. It's just meeting leaders. It's all right. I love Rui's kind of flexing a little bit there with like the Mills Church especially, but it's mostly kind of like shrug. Now going into Etoph, if I remember correctly, loved a lot of the stuff around Etoph. And this is where I really did start. I understood Etoph. I finally understood her. It's illogical to most people, but I understood her. I see why she was doing all the stuff that she was doing, as dumb as it was. As dumb as it was, it made sense. But then, yeah, the Roxy and the family again and leaving Lada behind was, so freaking good. And the Sieg birth with the green hair and Petagoose summoning. The first half just so kind of rough. I think it's a B- maybe. Etoph battle kind of carries it. Etoph battle and Roxy thing is kind of carrying it, which are good. Like I especially like Roxy and Edis fighting side by side. B+. B+. I think above this one too. Everything's cut in line in front of 9. Everything's cut in line in front of 9. Poor 9. 9 so badly wants to go up here. It so badly wants to go up here. Anyway, what was it 9 again? It was the Nanahoshi one, right? 9. Cliff, marriage, beast folks, Nanahoshi, yeah, Nanahoshi moment. And then the Luke juice. It's it's fighting. It's fighting so hard. Anyways, moving on. 23. Was that S, I think, before? I just by the cover, I'm like, I think that was an S. 23. Yeah, it was 20. It was an S tier before. I just don't think it's not. I just don't think it's not going to S. It's gonna definitely go above 19. Yeah, I think it'll probably go above 19 because I think overall it was a really, really good volume. So let's go through it. What is in 21? 21, right? No, 23. My eyes are blurring out here. So we have, of course, Sieg having green hair. Sylphie's having massive fears over it. They go over to Petagoose. Petagoose gives them the trial. They go off the Divine Continent. We have basically finally, for once, the entire wives and Ruias as a party, which I think it was the first time that we've really had them ever as a party, if I remember correctly. But yeah, anyways, that whole thing happening there, going to essentially the christening itself, Nanahoshi, and the teleportation device itself, which, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yes, that whole thing. Nanahoshi literally going to leave, Rudeus giving the letters from Rudeus to Nanahoshi. My gosh, yes, this is an S. This is an easy S. Now I'm looking back to the list. It's an easy S. Anyways, Reserve's location, the whole trap thing there, recruiting Galfalion, Edis going to her old stomping grounds, them going to try to find the North God in the conflict zone. Edis basically realizing at that point through Soldat that she made a massive mistake back there with the letter and breaking Rudeus, and Rudeus basically telling her, like, girl, it's okay, girl, it's good, it's okay. But then yeah, the only thing that's bad about this entire volume, oh yeah, and Kishidika given the second eye, and Geese's location. I think the only segment in this entire volume that was blah was the last chapter. Because again, it broke Bodygotti for me. I'm sorry. Geese recruiting Bodygotti. That was the beginning of which I gave up on Bodygotti. I didn't give up on him at that point, but that was the beginning of it. That was the begins. But that's an S tier. That's an S tier volume right there. That's an easy S tier volume. I do really want to get that printed on a disc plate. Do I have one already? I don't think I do. No, I think the only one they have right now is the one that Earthly gave me, which is the final volume cover, and Roxy nearly giving up Lada. Anyways, yeah, going on. Andrew, move on. We got more to go. We got a lot to go through, Andrew, here. 24, we have the Hero Kingdom. We have the meeting with the family getting involved with it. Sander and Doga joining them. Going off the Hero Kingdom, the soy sauce, finding the Superb Village. Vita attacking, him having to basically take out Zenith, which sucked. The plague hitting them. Norn and Cliff showing up. Cliff helping with trying to find a cure for it. Then we have pretty much, oh yeah, we have the chapter where Norn chose to go. Vita's story with the man god. Rudeus going to the capital, then bringing him back to the tour of the village. The bridge attack, the office attack, and Roxy and Edis being stranded. Is that a C? Is that a C volume? Now, I want to say that it was a pretty well-paced segment, and I really did love finding Reserve again. Like, I freaking love Reserve so much. And I love that I was so frustrated with that whole thing. I love that something gets me heated. As much people are like, oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense, Andrew. It's good that it makes you frustrated, because I'm sure that Refugio wants you to have that struggle. I struggle with that so much that Reserve would choose that. Like it's going to fix anything if he follows the rules. But that again, that's the logic of the character. It's not a C. I think it's a low B. I think it's a low B, which I think at that point I'm gonna bump up that one. I think it's a low B. It's a high B. I'm gonna put high B. It's a low B. What did I put it before? I had it low B. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in the middle then. I'm gonna put it in the middle then. If I was thinking of high B, last time I said low B. I think I'm gonna put it in the middle. I think I'm gonna put it in the middle. Anyways, what else we have? 25. I might change the last two of these. Looking back at my old notes, I have 25. I had A minus. 26. I had A plus. 25. Of course, again we have Santa realizes there's danger. Rushes over, starts to prepare things before Rudeus gets back. Rudeus is in the ravine with Doga. Fantastic moment. We gather up the forces up there, reveal that Sander who he is. We go right into Edis fighting Galfalion with Richard. Then we have Galfalion's story, Alex fight. We have Etov rushing in, epic moment. They beat Alec. Rudeus gains becomes the 7th great power. We go right into Sander and Richard. That whole story where Sander wants more information about what happened with Petagoose and Kalman, all that kind of stuff. We go right into the armor itself. With Bodygotti showing up. We go right into the history of Bodygotti and the armor itself. Alec dying, ? So, no, I think that's still an A. Because it's so well paced. Again, I think I mentioned at the time, I'm not a big fan of fights. Like, I don't need it. And I felt like overall this entire series has been like very few fights. It's like, it's not his focus. It's not a Balor
series. But I almost felt like, even though there was a lot of focus on fights with this particular volume, it wasn't the purpose of it. Like, there was still story being told, like Galfalian's story and all that kind of stuff. So it still wins in the end. Like, it still absolutely wins in the end. But it was well paced in the end, and there was some really cool reveals as well, kind of mixed in there. I love Doga's whole segment there. I love Petagoose and Kalaman, all that kind of stuff. The story of Udupin was still good. So I think I'm still gonna put an A. After I just put this one up there, I'm gonna put it right above. I'm gonna put it right above here. I think I'm still gonna an A. Again, I had an A- in my other list, so I guess it technically makes sense to come down here. But yeah, for the final volume, before we can finally get into the best boy and girl. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it took this long to just get to the freaking volumes. It's fine. 26, we have, of course, the fight on the beach itself. Sander doing his little sacrifice. What is to be a hero? Talk about his father, trying to be a nobody in history books, stalling the fighting god, going right into essentially getting the backup because they're nearly getting defeated. Sylphie and all them show up. We have basically going to get the magic armor trump card, coming back, defeating the fighting god, seeing Geese off. Seeing Geese off. Alex returned, them getting beat up again. Orsa joined the battle, went to fight alongside his friends. The man god ceiling, going right into the dream of the death, going right into 34 years old, apparently, because we have to go back again. And then we have the talk with the man god, the dossier, and then the journal. I think I said it before, well, it was literally last week, the idea that I felt like it was a perfect end to Rias' story, but not a perfect end to the Mushoku Tensei series. Mainly because the idea that I've said before several hundred times, and I know that a lot of people disagree with me, and I don't really care. It's fine. We can have disagreements here. I feel like up until the end of this volume right here, 21, it was always about Rudius and those that support him. It's always about it's about, like what Etov said, bring everybody to me. They are all you, essentially. They're extensions of you. It is what makes Rudius who he is. Again, Rudius doesn't care about himself. He cares about those around him. It's how, from the very beginning, it was all about him and myself, and at the very end, it's all about my family. And so, developing that family to make it make sense as to why Rudius is so in love with that family and why it means so much to him, and he cherishes it so much. And the family, not just family, the friends as well, is what really makes this series special. And I feel like from this point on, it became about just a big epic fight, which is fine. It's fine. And the end of this entire series felt like it was just kind of just focusing on just Rudius, and everybody else is kind of like just footnotes. It's in a dossier. So in the end, I felt like it was an incredible ending, a perfect ending for Rudius himself, his story, him, Uno, Rudius. Because it was like literally a culmination of all this stuff, especially the very beginning of the story right here with Volume 1, and the idea of how he came there with massive regrets and he didn't want to do it again. And in the end, he had no regrets and even lacked any shred of anger. Like, this guy felt fulfilled. He felt like he'd done everything he wanted to do. It's literally what everybody would hope for in the end, is what Rudius had there. What everybody would hope for is that when they close their eyes for the last time, I mean, in this whole, look into the future, it said that he wanted to hang around a little bit longer, like 10 minutes. Let me just enjoy a little bit longer around with everybody around me. But it wasn't like he's like, no, please, God, no, I don't want to die right now. He left. He walked off. Even with the man god saying, I'm going to get your family, he walked past him. I think it's still an A+. Still A+. It's just not S tier for me. It's not S tier for me because, again, half the volume is literally taken up by pictures, which is it's not really a point because it's a volume, is a compilation of them transferring it from web novel. He just didn't want to bulk up the freaking volume. It would have been nice to just fill out the rest of the volume with a little bit more. Again, taking all the dossier stuff and just like compile it into Rudius talking about things would have been so much more cooler. But it is what it is. It's still incredible. It's still an incredible ending. So I love it. So yeah, there you go. That's my tier list for you folks. It has been decided. That is, screenshot it. Tell all of your friends how stupid Andrew is. Tell your friends how stupid Andrew is because he didn't put the final volume as S tier. These are just incredible, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Nothing beats these. And again, these are SS-A, SB, SC. That is what these are. These are just the top. Like, these are the ones that I would like to go back and read again, like, multiple times. And even these ones as well. So it's some good stuff. Some good stuff. Anyways, let's get into the creamy of the crop. Let's get into the characters. Best boy. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this decently fast. Let's see if I can do this decently fast because I don't have all freaking day to record. Anyways, Alec. I like him as a perspective of, again, sort of a mirror of his father, and the idea that he pretty much did the same thing his father did, making the same mistakes. He's just he's literally just a younger version of him. He's him before he becomes who he is. It's like a B. I think a B. By the way, I'm gonna be very mixed on like who I just love as a character and who has a great story, waifus, husbandos, and stuff like that. I think Mushoku Tensei overall is kind of a nice situation where I think the husbando characters and the waifu characters, best girls, best boys, are literally a culmination of how much I fall in love with them as a story. So it kind of just works out the same way. Anyways, B. I think he's a really solid character. Sander. This is a struggle. This is my first struggle because I kind of want to put him in S tier because he's such a cool dude at the very end. I love his personality, and yeah, a lot of this is what I kind of turned the character into personality wise, but I get a sense from the text what it's sort of going for. But I don't want to put anything in S here because I know there's gonna be a lot of stuff in S. I think he's still an A, but I do really love his character. Like, this is a guy that, again, he did everything that Alec did. Like, he made the mistakes. He went out there and he acted like a hero. He got his face pushed in, and he just came all about like changing his entire life. And then at the end, sacrificing himself for people multiple times. He's a cool dude. I'm gonna put him in A for now, though. Automonfi. I love some moments with Automonfi, especially like the whole situation being summoned and breaking his contract, but he's kind of barely there. He just kind of shows up every now and then and says something. He's kind of like in a C area. I was so sold on the idea of please have Rudius keep the contract with him because their chemistry is amazing. Their chemistry was so freaking amazing. I wanted more of that. Oh well. Was it Alphonse? I think. Alphonse. I give the guy mad respects because he was looking out for the betterment of the land that was kind of entrusted in him, and so to speak, because of the passing of his master and everything like that. But at the same time, I don't really. It wasn't as if I liked the decision that he's making, but I almost ultimately feel like he was perfectly. In the end, he was perfectly fine with her leaving. Like he sort of just kind of laid out what she had to do in order to keep in a good position. Yes, it was to send her off to a disgusting human being, and I think that's the part that kind of hurts a lot about with it. And Guile knew that. But at the same time, there was a feeling as almost if like you don't really have much else of a choice. We can't save the land and everything. Yes, he was doing it to mostly save the land, not really save Edis. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. It's just it feels bad. I understand it feels bad. You kind of want to put him in a trash territory, but you also kind of acknowledge that would have been a little like her own ability to stay in nobility, and hopefully one day. And I think I think if I remember correctly, there was a sense there he was hoping that eventually she would literally break him. Wasn't it? I think I don't know. But anyways, we'll leave him D for now. Let me make my. I don't know. Clear add row below. Okay, you can go away when I create it. No opinion. My no opinion list right here, which is going to be basically things that I don't know him well enough. Obviously, he's on the cover. I haven't really met much about him. Then we have Arbor the Peacock Blade. Arbor the Peacock Blade. I respect Arbor a lot, especially when it comes to essentially what he is sort of provided for Edis. Was basically one of her masters. But I did find it very interesting that in the end, Edis almost doesn't really have much of a care for him in the end, even though similarly like Galfalion, this is somebody that was one of her masters. She didn't care. It didn't seem like care so much for him, which again is understandable. This girl just wanted to use them for learning things. It was more kind of interesting to kind of see how Sander kind of made some comments about him as well, but he's all right. I'm okay with the Peacock Blade. I think he's like in a low C. Not interesting. So, Body Gotti.
Bodyguardy.
It's as simple to say, and we all know it. Bodyguardy, like at the university arc, was like a high A for me. Like probably an mid A. I wanted more. I just wanted more. I loved the personality of him and what I was sort of turning him into. The whoa, come Rudius, let's party. So what are we celebrating? Bring all the word, bring me all the prayers and everything. What are we celebrating? I love that about his character, but then he disappears, and then when he comes back, it's just. I tried not that he's that low. I would probably say like character wise, story wise, and everything. He's still interesting, and I still like his character. But I just didn't like him in the end. Like in the end, not that he's irredeemable, because I mean it's still fiction. It's just not something I want to hang out with anymore. I don't want to hang out with him anymore. That's my other character. I'm just gonna go hang out with Doga. I'm just gonna talk to Doga. Unfortunately, like where his story goes really does kind of plummet him a lot for me. To the point where I didn't understand him in the end. I really, in the end, did not understand him. I don't know if that was it's obviously the intention of Refugin to make him sort of the foolish blood kind of person. But with how much emphasis was put on how he does think things through a lot and struggles with things, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, the fool's blood. Anyways, I'm gonna put in C. C or B? C. I'm gonna leave him a C. I'm gonna leave him a C. Blaze, no opinion on. We barely kind of get to know him with his history with Roxy and whatnot. Carlisle, Latria. This is a character I kind of want to have more of. To be truthful, this is a character looking back I kind of want to see more of. We do get a brief chapter where we see where Claire Latria first met him and how this is somebody that sort of kind of straightened her up a little bit. She still kind of became what she became, and that was a lot to do with the expectations of Latria. But he sort of did kind of correct her a little bit. And I kind of want to see more about him. Obviously, I would assume that most of his story is just being, what his role is, his job is. So I guess there wouldn't probably be much to get into. But I kind of would like to see more of him. But for now, no opinion. Cliff, my boy. Oh, we're dropping. Cliff, my boy, is S tier. Cliff, my boy, first S tier right here. Easy S tier. My boy Cliff came a long ways. I think from the beginning, I knew that he was probably going to be an okay character. Like, yeah, it starts him out being this snubby little kid. The Pope's boy. He's so like in full of himself. Everybody's below me. And then the whole situation with Edis is like a correction point. But then like going right into the university, I'm like, oh, here we go. Is this where we kind of correct him a little? He shifts so fast. Like I'm happy that it didn't spend too much time having him always up there going, will you guys be quiet? Focus on your studies. Ellen Lace breaks him so fast. I think that's really what it is. Ellen Lace being there. If Ellen Lace wasn't there, I think he would have probably been pretty snotty the entire time. He'd been focused on his studies. But the moment that he sees Ellen Lace, things shift so quick and it pulls him to seek out Reus's help. And then from there on, it just becomes how much he helps him because I met Ellen Lace because you came here and she came with you and you helped me talk to her. It's super cool because from that point on, you just see that appreciation between the two of them and how they support each other. And just so many points. Like I keep saying, like literally Cliff did so much for Rudius. And very few points that Rudius ever did anything for Cliff. Somebody pointed out, and I technically do agree, him sort of revealing a little bit into the whole curse. What Rudius knew about the curse and how the curses and blessings are the same. And they have been transferred in the past with Laplace and the Spears. And that gave Rudius enough to know. But I do argue there's a good chance he probably could have figured it out. Cliff's a smart dude, but it would just made him take longer. Let's be honest. But Cliff, oh my gosh, the Millis Church, that meeting, fell in love with him so freaking hard. Fell in love. Does the scripture not say? It's such good stuff, dude. Did Millis not say? Such a good character. I love him. He's fantastic. Anyways, trash, absolute trash. I'm not gonna make a trash. I'm just if it D and trash. D and trash. Not that Alphonse here is trash. Well, shoot. He was trying to send her off to that guy. They can be in the trash together. There you go. See there? Stick them in the trash together. I might make a deal later on. Obviously, garbage. And it's like one of those situations where it's like you just see somebody that's just completely corrupt by evil. This guy is pure corruption of power. There's no... They try to do something with Rada at the very end, but there's just nothing there. There's just literally nothing there. This guy is just a scumbag, dirtbag, trash. When I watch one of these side chapters, is really gonna get into Paimon, like that whole thing with Rada and everything. It's just gonna be like, oh, suddenly, oh, okay, so he is actually a good person. Why did I say Paimon? I'm sorry, Darius. Paimon's later. Darius is. I'm gonna do that a lot, but by the way, there's a lot of characters, so I wanna mix up some names. But Darius is garbage. Palmon's garbage too, but he's got redeeming factors to him. See, that's a good thing. That's a good thing because they're in the same situation between Darius. Where's Darius? Palmon. Where's Palmon at? UBP. There he is. See, these two are technically, well, I was saying earlier where there's no redeeming qualities about Darius. Palmon is kind of in a similar situation that he's sort of in the same area of time as well, and they're both going for the same goal. There is a shift in power. We need to buddy up with the next one that could possibly be up there. And their choice is to go with the one that seems to be the most logical. Because something. With Darius, it's pure power control. Just pure power control. It doesn't get into him having a family or anything to focus on. Paimon, on the other hand, it's about family. It's about my family's future. Luke, you don't understand. It's for our family's future. We have to back him because otherwise we'll lose everything. You guys won't have anything. That was his focus. It wasn't that he was spineless. You could say he's spineless because he didn't choose to stick his neck out for Ariel. But when it comes down to, I see two doors open. One looks a lot more narrow than the other one. There's a lot more gold in the other one. You're going to choose, for my family's future, I'm going to go for the one that's wider and has gold behind it. Not the one that's narrow and hard to get through that doesn't look like there's anything on the other side of it. Ariel at the time looked like she had nothing until she busts out the Petagus. So these are two similar situations there. So it's all about power, but this one has a reason. This one has a purpose. Put him probably in the... I'll put him in the low B area. He's a solid character. I'd like to get more into the brother, but unfortunately kind of he's in that realm of like... He's not trash like Darius. He did do some nasty stuff. Let's be clear. A lot of this is kind of orchestrated together, but he was often kind of pointed out as being sort of the one that was orchestrating a lot of it. But it was all by his command. Trash the guy, whatever, just crash the guy. Anybody that goes against Ariel, trash him. Derek Redbat, this poor guy got wronged by the anime. This poor guy got wronged by the anime so bad. Derek was a cool dude. Derek was literally the reason why Ariel became what he was. Again, another character he was kind of one of the reasons why I like the whole Library Labyrinth, was getting a little bit more into him. But it's really just for him to say, I think these two can be something. That was really what it was. He is a cool character. He kind of triggered sort of a lot of what happened in the future. A huge pinnacle point of the entire future. Cool stuff. Let's see, Doga. Doga, my boy. I don't think I'm going to put an S tier, but I do love my Doga. I love my Doga. A tier easy for Doga. He's just a good boy. I kind of... Another one that I really do kind of hope that there's at least one side chapter in one of those side volumes that just gets a little bit extra into him. Like maybe like an origin story for him or something like that. He just seems cool. He just seems like a cool dude. I mean, it gets into like how Sander found him or all that kind of stuff, but he just seems like a cool dude. I'd like to see more about him. Duke Bakshill, trash. I just put him in here because I want to put everything in here. Duke Bakshill's a little superb just dirtbag. I hate his guts. But yeah, that is what it is. Dustbin, don't really have much to say about Dustbin. He's a cool dude. See, it's fine. Dustbin's cool. He's all right. Galfarian, the guy that trained Ghislaine up in the Sword Sanctum, had a child, felt he became weak, wanted to fight Orsted really badly again, joined Geese, got his butt kicked by his pupil, and literally fell apart. Like, well, I got that backwards. He got beat by Gino and then fell apart. Geese recruits him, gets beat by Edis. Dude fell apart. I do like the kind of the book ending of his story, but I almost felt like his story was kind of one of those ones where I always wanted to get into him. Then he gets pulled to the forefront. You get a quick snippet and he dies. So it's kind of, I kind of wanted to know more about him, but it was a good little brief story when it finally did get into him. So I'll see. I'll put him C. Gallus Cleaner, I think it is. Cleaner, whatever his name is. I have no opinion, really. It doesn't really have much to go on with his character, so I don't really have much of opinion. Gash Brosh, I would love to have another side chapter on that one. They technically very briefly got into the idea that he was somebody that was saved by Rajerd, helps out Rajerd once he reaches Millis. Millis goes to Duke Bakshill with a letter from him. I think they touched on him again, like, way later. When they went back to Millis when they were in the meeting room, they brought him into the picture again. Not too much about his character. I would have liked more, so no opinion. Geese. I had fun with Geese in the Beast Folk Village. I liked him, like, his exchanges with Edis as they were traveling. I think his little conversation with Paul was super good. Didn't really get too much. Honestly, I don't really remember too much about him when they were at the Beggar Continent, other than him doing all the tricks and whatnot, which at this point we all know was given to him by the Man God. But after that, I obviously, because of this side chapter or the extra chapter, the moment that they met them in Millis, I was already convinced that Geese had talked to the Man God, like he was with the Man God. So the moment, I just wasn't sure if it was before then or after then, because I was kind of wondering if it was maybe a look forward to kind of throw you off. So I was already kind of sus with him at the moment right there, and so I wasn't really kind of playing into him too much. But unfortunately, like, ever since then, I grew sick of Geese so fast. And that's the unfortunate thing. Like, once I got the insight into why he is the way he is, I'm like, good, I understand. I understand why he's doing what he's doing. I understand why Geese is working for the Man God. Makes perfect sense. Fine. It's fine. He's working for him because otherwise he's going to die. Like, without him, I'm weak. I can't do nothing. I will die. I understand him. But I got sick of him so fast. I got sick of him so fast. He is an interesting character, so I don't want to completely down on him too much. He is an interesting character. He's not a poorly wrote character. He's a repetitive character. I almost want to put him in. I'm just gonna put him in trash. Again, he's a well wrote character, but I'm gonna put him in trash. I can't stand him. I hate him. I just hate him in the end. I just hate him in the end. He was a cool dude for a long time, but I just hate him in the end. I don't care for him. Anyways, moving on. Gino Britsu, don't really know anything about him, so it's fine. The chief guy, he's all right, but no, don't really have an opinion. Gilane's brother, what was his name? Gaius or whatever? Yeah, Gaius. Gilane's brother. Gilane's brother. I liked seeing him again when they returned to the Duldia village, and I liked him in the earlier moments where it was like kind of that contrast of seeing somebody from the village that goes, wait, that's not Gilane, that way we know. But going right into, like, afterwards with them coming back and him currently running the place was kind of cool. Him starting to talk with Linnea, all that kind of stuff was good. But he's not like that, like, deep of a character for now. He's like in the sea area. Jalil, no opinion. Genius. I mean, he helped out Roxy, but I don't really have an opinion on him. It's fine. Julian Hardisko, no opinion. Just made the swords. Kurt, not really having enough for an opinion on him. Laplace. This is funny because Laplace is one I put him in the list. I know he or she. I think they kind of imply it was he. Laplace, they sort of is an interesting situation because I don't really have any information story-wise for personality, but I have a lot of emphasis on, like, what they've done. which is like super fascinating. And so I'm hoping that one of the side volumes will really start to get into Laplace as a character, because I'm kind of intrigued to know more about them. I'm gonna leave him a no opinion for now, just because I don't know where else we can kind of go with that whole character. And I think personality kind of fits in a lot with all this kind of stuff. That's fine. I'll put him up in like a. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it down here. I'm not gonna put an opinion on it yet. Laws, no opinion. The beast, the sacred beast. I kind of expected more in the series with the sacred beast, and I guess that's kind of the foolish thing about it, because as we find out very quickly when we first meet the sacred beast, is that there's a point for the sacred beast for this chosen one, and the chosen one was for something that was later. It wasn't Rudius. So the assumption was going to be that whatever the sacred beast does will be later. I just kind of assumed at some point they were going to get involved. Like literally when Rudius is about to get taken down by the fighting god, I thought that the thing that was low to the ground was going to be the sacred beast. Like Roxy brought it back, but no, it ended up being Ghislaine. Like it just didn't really do anything besides wolf and walk around. So I don't really have any opinion of the sacred beast. It's cute, he's fluffy, and he was very much so cuddly with Roxy, and is taking care of Lada. I don't know, just don't really have it's just a dog for now. I'm hoping we'll probably get into more of him. No opinion for now. Luke. I don't think I ever liked Luke, did I? He so is a background character after everything with Ariel, which is fine. Like they bump into him every now and then to talk. I mean, he's a good rote character. I don't have any like really strong connection to his story. I'll put him like mid-C. The Man God. Damn, where does the Man God go? Now, here's my struggle with the Man God, because I honestly, I overly complicated the Man God in my mind, so I was always intrigued to find more about the Man God. But in the end, the Man God is really just the Man God's the core problem, but at the same time, the Man God isn't that smart. I like the fact that at some point they point out that he's kind of very simple-minded, and he actually very is so. It's like, it almost makes, it's just more the fact that the Man God is unreachable that it makes it difficult, which is interesting in itself, how very difficult it is to take down the Man God, but yet how simple it is. You just got to get to him. It's seemingly you just have to get to him. But he himself doesn't really do much besides pull people in and manipulate them, which at its core is, yes, a very big problem. But at the same time, it's not a very complicated character. Like overall, story-wise, doesn't seem like a very complicated character. And I think that's where it kind of breaks. Now, again, there's a chance that whenever we do get into side stuff, we might get into some of his actual history. Again, why Orsted was actually created to go after him. All that stuff from the origin stories of the Dragon Folk. And I'm sure that might be more interesting. But if you think about it, when it comes down to it, this is a guy that's sitting there laughing at the death of people. Then eventually Rudius shows up, and then suddenly he wants Rudius dead. And he tries to manipulate people to kill Rudius. Like, it's not more complicated than that. So he's not a very complicated character when you look at it. Like, personality-wise, he's very straightforward. He's just kind of a nasty dude that hates everybody and wants everybody to suffer, always sees his own suffering. Like, he's, again, I don't want to overcomplicate him. He is kind of a simple character. But that's what makes it fascinating, that how much mystique is kind of built around him. Anyways, I'll put him B. The Ogre God. It was fine. C, it's fine. Was it Mimur or something like that? Was it Mimur? Yeah, Mimur. No opinion. More? I like More. I think he's kind of like Sakuri right there with Derek Radbat. I like More. He's just kind of like he's like a more stoic and a little bit of a goof side and gruffier and older version of Derek Redbat. We'll just say that. Putting them side by side now, it's like these two are kind of very similar but very different personalities. Nokopada, don't really have much opinion on. Early on, he was kind of a villain character, which is kind of interesting to later on get that little flip with Roxy and stuff. But he's fine. I'll just put him no opinion. Oldius. Aldius. Aldius changes Rudius' story a lot, but I don't think Aldius' story itself was connected to me at all. And this is something that I kind of struggled with at the time when we went to the Future Diary chapters. It was like, I don't think I got much emotion out of that whole segment besides like the idea of, again, Rudius himself feeling that life as he read it. But I like the death of Aldius was like okay, this guy just shows up out of nowhere, claims to be Rudius, and then dies. Yeah, he's probably Rudius, but he's a different Rudius. Like I didn't like feel like Rudius died. So I never really got had any sort of emotional connection. And then from then on, it just turned into like a what if chapter. And I didn't really get much of a sense there, again, besides Rudius being physically and emotionally impacted by reading it because he felt it. I feel like story-wise, it changes so much with the appearance of Aldius, even though I hate time stuff. Not that I hate it, just sometimes I don't like what it kind of presents. But I don't find him to be a very interesting character himself. It's just what he triggers is really what Aldius is. He broke everything when it comes to Rudius' relationship with the man god, and then, in turn, Orsted. He's a massive turning point. Massive turning point.
And then we have Orsted. Best boy Orsted. No doubt about it. This is we're not going to stall this one. It's going straight up into top S tier. I absolutely love Orsted's character. It is such a I think of everything of the series overall besides like, you know, Refugion's willingness to get dirty, show flaws in characters, you know, having these nasty scars and stains on them, getting into nasty subjects that present really tough topics that people often avoid, which I think are important to get into because, one, it breaks stigmas around discussing them and really getting into them and addressing what people actually do struggle with on a daily basis and, you know, dismantle it. I think it's important to get into that stuff. But outside of that, and Rudius' story itself and how that gets in that regret and stuff, that stuff aside, which I think he does incredible, I think one of the most impressive things that he did with this story was Orsted's character. Because Orsted initially is presented as the bad guy. This guy is nasty, absolutely destroys Rudius, impales him, takes him down. And yeah, granted, it wasn't as if I was like, it wasn't like this was a secret. I mean, I think the first meeting with the man god, I was with Rudius on the idea of not really being very trustful of the man god. I felt like he was trying to manipulate Rudius. Oh yeah, he's a bad guy. He could destroy the world. The fact that he was walking around with this person that, yes, had a Japanese name and was going to be presumably going to be the other person that was isekai'd along with Rudius, maybe giving the impression that this wasn't a bad guy. Why was he with Nanahoshi if he's a bad guy? Obviously, Nanahoshi sees him as a good guy. He seemed like a good guy. It's just it seemed like, again, he didn't like Rudius for having some sort of connection to the man god. That seemed obvious. So I knew that it was going to be something about him. It's just, why is this guy so mean? Why is he so mean? And again, the fact that he didn't kill, you know, Rijur, didn't kill Edis. He only killed Rudius. And then he undid it. So I was very much so kind of interested to see what was about him. And again, which led to me into frustration with Rudius going to fight Rijur because I thought he was a good guy. Now Hoshi was saying he's a good guy. He's not a bad guy. So finally getting into Orsted and really joining the Orsted Corporation, every single time Rudius talked to him, he broke the rules of the world. He broke what we thought in the foundations that we built of the world. He was a world breaker. He was a stability breaker. He was a stability breaker. Every single time he opened his mouth, whoa, okay, what? he just reveals things like constantly. He's been around for so long. Having sort of like this almost lore holder that never really kind of reveals too much stuff, either because he doesn't think it's significant or he doesn't trust Rudius with the information. But again, also getting the idea of just how he's somebody that is just kind of closed off from life, now meeting somebody who is not really like the pinnacle of humanity, which is Rudius. And then as Rudius grows as a person, as a father, he slowly kind of starts to rub off onto Orsted, until eventually Rudius kind of developing friendships and bonds eventually leads to this climactic moment at the very end, which I think, outside of Rudius's, you know, closing chapters, I think is literally like the other part that Refugian did very well with Volume 26, which I kind of forgot to talk about back there. That I think in a sense it was a closure to Rudius's story, but there was this little bit right here where it was a closure of Orsted's story.
because Orsted made a big change in his life right there. In all these loops, he made a big change in his life right there to finally accept to fight alongside people and not just be so focused on staying out of the picture and letting Rudius kind of do his own thing. We'll see what he does. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. He's not doing so good. No, I want to be a part of it now. It's almost like we'll see what he does and then we'll just do another loop. Okay, I kind of want to be a part of this. Like, he finally wants to get on the playing field. And I think that was a huge, cool moment in Orsted's life and his story. But overall, really cool character. Such a fascinating character. Massively OP. Wreck stuff. Again, I think a lot of my love comes from my personality that I kind of put into his character with my voice and stuff. Rudius. But I love him. I love him to death. He's a big Papa Bear. And I want to see more of him. Hopefully we'll get more of him in the side chapters. No opinion on Patrick. He's there. Paul, obviously S tier. I think again before Orsted, Paul was easily my favorite side character. Just a phenomenally wrote character. Again, very similar to Rudius, being a very flawed father. Always kind of being down on himself, despite the fact that he was doing a lot of great things as a father. Even when he was correcting his path, he still thought himself to be a poor father, even though he put literally his life on the line in order to save his family. But again, every chapter that included him just gut punched me. Again, it has a lot to do with my own personal experience with my father. I connected quite a bit there. Not that my father was like Paul. Don't get me wrong. just the love of a father. Just the love of a father and all that kind of stuff that I think he's incredible. I think his incredible story. And again, his ultimate sacrifice in the end. I wish he was around towards the later part for, the birthdays for Aisha and Norn. Gut punch. Cannot wait to get into those. The Paul Gaiden and the Volume 12 extras, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, PAX. I didn't really go with a lot of people on PAX. There's a lot of people that were kind of against me on PAX, but I felt like the PAX of this timeline, I didn't really get much out of him. My heart broke for Zenoba and his desire to be with PAX, and I think, yeah, he did have a great struggle chapter. Like, him really technically trying to change for the sake of Benedict and reclaim his power was a cool story overall. I just don't like Pax as a person. Like, he's still in the end, he's a sleazebag, dirtbag, disgusting person that really didn't understand what he was doing. He screwed up bad in his choices, which led to why he didn't have the power that he did. But yeah, my heart broke for Zenoba, but I don't feel like Pax was the person that Orsted knew yet. He wasn't the person that Orsted knew yet. Orsted was talking about somebody that, turned it into a republic and all this kind of stuff and did good stuff. But that wasn't this Pax. And I think that was a lot to do with the man god's meddling. He couldn't get that far. He's like he's in the C area. I'll put him B. I'll put him in B. He had a good story. Pedagogus Dula. He's probably easily at A tier. Very much so. I'll put him in a high A. I think Pedagogus is similar to Orsted. Such a long-lived person. Has a lot of wealth of knowledge and power, and was also a very interesting personality. Very much so. I don't care about anything unless it directly involves me in Laplace. So just don't bother me with it. But yet so easily entertained by the hobbies that apparently the Dragon Folk kind of get stuck in, that they want to learn more about. Ooh, this thing right here. Let me know more about it. In his case, magic. Let me know more about it. The arts. Let me know more about it. That's why he likes Zenoba so much. He's a very fascinating character. In every chapter, every moment that Rudius was in his presence or somebody was in his presence I ate it up. He's similar to Orsted in the idea that he's not a big lore dump kind of person. Like, every time Pedagogus opens his mouth, it's not like something really deep gets dropped. But he does it. He's just more of like just a powerful figure that has so much potential that most everybody would want. Obviously, Ariel going after him for that sake. But anyways, cool dude. Very cool dude. Let's see. Philip. I kind of wish we had more Philip. I see what he was kind of trying to do for his daughter and essentially his wife with his family, and how the bloodline, every son of his gets taken away, which is kind of garbage. But yeah, I would have liked more of him, but unfortunately don't really get too much. He's a cool dude. He seemed like a cool father. Was trying to look out for his family and really
crappy situation. I'll put him in C area. The Pope. Again, another character we just don't really get enough of for me to really have an opinion on, but what little we did have, I liked him kind of trying to prop up his son. Randolph Marianne, cool character. Very cool character. I think I really did appreciate every scene that we had of him. Is he A-worthy? I don't think so. I kind of want to, though. I kind of want to, because he is a kind of an interesting character. I'm gonna put him in A. I'll put him in A. It's fine. Yeah, we'll put him in A. He's an interesting character. I liked him. No opinion on the chief. No real opinion on. I mean, yeah, I want to S rank him and the mother because they birthed Roxy, but no opinion. Reus Grey Rat, obviously A, or A, obviously A, obviously S tier character. I still think he's below Orsted though. I'm sorry, Reus doesn't beat the main character of the story doesn't beat Orsted. I'm sorry, I'm just joking. They're great for their own reasons. Obviously, I've said it several thousand times. Reus is a very fantastic character, and the idea that it's a character that starts off with massive flaws is seen as a stain of society. I'm not going to say that he is a stain of society. He is seen as a stain of society. Somebody that should be dead in a ditch somewhere, but yet is given another opportunity and takes that opportunity to start anew, doesn't immediately change and flick like a light switch and suddenly he is the upstanding person, which is I do appreciate. Seeing that even he kind of points out at the very end, I still have these nasty mistakes that I keep making and choices I make that make me kind of a disgusting person, but in the end, he's fulfilled. In the end, he changes a lot of lives in the end, makes a family, and has happiness, which is all great. I was like last night I was going to bed and I literally like random brain tangent in my mind as I was trying to sleep, started writing my intro for my light novel series review, which is a lot to do with, again, what society sees somebody like Rudius was in his previous life and how much so many people would love the opportunity to do the same thing he kind of got a chance to do. And not that it makes you suddenly fix, but something you kind of grow from. Again, not a redemption story. It's not a redemption story. It's not a redemption story. Regerd, S tier. I love Papa Regerd. He's such a great character overall. Like from the very beginning, meeting him, seeing what people kind of see him as, this person that needs to be hunted down and killed for these crimes of the past, getting very quickly into revealing the truth of that past and how they were wronged, and that legacy that he was trying to build, that correction he was trying to make for his tribe, ultimately getting to him finding his tribe and wanting to protect that tribe. He is just a great character. And yeah, just how he, helped Rudius, Edis, Norn, Aisha. He's a cool dude. He's such a cool dude. I love him. I just love him character. I love his character. Saros, there's a character I would love to have a side chapter on, the life of Saros. We technically kind of got one with Rudius hanging out with him for a brief moment, banging a maid. I kind of wish we had more. He's so beloved by Edis that it makes you kind of want to know more about him. I'm sure there's nothing really super fascinating about it, obviously, other than people wanting to get him out of the picture because he wanted to help his kingdom so much, which sucks. I'll put him B. He's a good guy. He's got good taste. Good taste. No opinion, obviously, because we just no really information on him. No opinion, obviously. Just he's a dirtbag. Let's put him in trash because he's the only one that got out of the whole situation. This dude got out of the whole situation. Shaghal the Gargantus. I kind of want more. I mean, we do have a lot of information about him, but it's very secondhand information. Like he did this, he did this, he did this. Not really too much of him as a person. Again, similar to Laplace, like I mentioned earlier. We know a lot about them, but not who they are. So, Akito, Nanohoshi's boy. the worst isekai story ever. Transported, meets a blessed child, hangs around with what I assume is Roxy at this point, because somebody pointed out a missing line from the that last chapter. I totally forgot to mention at the very beginning, but yes, somebody pointed out there was a complete line removed, which implied that the person that was the architect of the summoning of him
was the same person that was hanging out with them, question mark, which implies that this person that is supposed to be like the best mage of the world is now hanging out with them and has the sleepy eyes. I'm like, it kind of makes me believe that's Roxy. Kind of makes me believe that Roxy. What was I going with that? But yeah, hanging out with Roxy and this blessed child, and then eventually done. That's his story. Done. And again, technically, because he dies, again, facilitates the appearance of Rudius. Which, yes, that makes me believe that, like, Roxy, if that is Roxy, again, this sleepy person, it could be a descendant of Roxy. It could be Randolph's children. Somebody made a comment there that caught that it could be Randolph's child or something like that, because he was always bored. He wasn't sleepy. I don't think it would be a Randolph's child. I think it's going to be Roxy or Roxy's children. But either way, facilitates that the Roxy was the reason that Rudius was ever there. Roxy started it all. Roxy started it all. The mage genius she is. Anyways, I don't have an opinion on him. Nanahoshi seemed to like him. Sold at. Really great character. Best bro up here. I don't know if he's S tier levels. I mean, the whole hanging out with Rudius all night, even though he has to travel to an S rank dungeon or whatever it was, or A rank dungeon, I forget what it was. New Labyrinth. Just the fact that he spent that time with him is so great. But I don't think he's S. We'll put him in B. A is fine. No opinion. Talhan, my gosh, dude. When I put him in this tier list, I'm like, holy crap, I forgot about Talhan. Like, this dude disappeared. The moment they finished the whole labyrinth, yeah, because he got his the scales, made his thing, and then Geese messed up and he left. I don't think we ever heard from him again after that. I gotta assume that he's gotta have a side chapter somewhere, but this dude just got disappeared. I think overall, like, I don't remember really all that much about his character. Like, it is just, again, he was in Paul's party. He, dropped everything to help them try to find everybody after the displacement incident, which is great. And then having these little brief moment in the Beggar Continent where he's making these comments about Rudius. He's doing his best to kind of support them, even though he kind of feels he's kind of in that center area where he doesn't really have too much of a role, if I remember correctly. He kind of gets replaced by Roxy coming back. And then that was it. And he just kind of leaves. So it's like, he's not like a really interesting character. So I'm going to put him like in the high C area. He's all right. I kind of wanted more. Really did. Getting into Timothy, he's that character. He's kind of just pulling the team together. He's a lot more fleshed out than the other characters of the party, that's for sure. Getting into like his past party experiences and whatnot. Vita, really cool story. Not really that much connection there. It was a cool little chapter when they got into his actual story. Got to let Rudius see a couple people again. Some what if chapters. Udapin, again, we know a lot about them, but not a lot about them. Just that they're very important in the past. Don't really have an opinion of them. Would like to, again, another one I would kind of like to see more, like, in perspective, insight into their character. Vio, I like him. He's a cool dude, but again, don't really know much about him, other than he's a cool dude. Rudius wants to hang out with him. Wita, no opinion. He's a little midget that got donated. And Zenoba, of course, going straight up the S tier. Zenoba, best boy. I was thinking about this. I think I talked about this on the Mushoku Monday once. Who would be between the two of them? I struggle. Like, and a lot of it has to do with my personality that I gave Zenoba's character. I kind of want to give it to Zenoba more because I find him more fascinating. I find Zenoba to be such a wild card fascination because I knew there was more to him than what he was kind of giving out. I just assumed that he was going to be special, and it did confirm that he is technically sort of special in a way, touched, as you would say. But Cliff is just always there to support whenever he needs it. And so they both support in their own way. It's just Cliff is more like, he's more adamant about it, and he's always in a position to kind of get that done. Whereas Zenoba, when he's there and he's present, he's going to do whatever he can to protect his master. He's going to do it. I guess it's more the idea that like Cliff is he's going to more well thought out, whereas Zenoba's more in the moment. Easy way to put it. But they're both great. They're both fantastic. My gosh. I love my Zenoba. Master. Plus, he's taking care of Julie. Even though he make Julie cry. That's it. That's my tier list for the dudes.
Let's get into the important stuff. You're all waiting for this one right here. You're all waiting for this one so you can start getting mad in the chat. Let's all start getting mad in the chat. Let's kick it off right off the bat. Number one, right the first one. S tier. Right off the bat, S tier. S tier Aisha. I love Aisha's character. No jokes aside, like I love her mischievousness. She's freaking cute as hell. Easily best sis. I'm sorry, Norn. I adore Norn's character, and I'm sure I'm gonna love Norn more in the side chapters. But I love Aisha's character. She's mischievous. She's teasy. Yeah, I'm kind of a little bummed that they didn't end up going the route of the whole Wincest thing like that. I kind of shipped it. I'm sorry. I just wanted my girl happy. But getting down to it, in the core, I think Aisha's story with Lilia, I mean, we can technically put these side by side. Let's put them both up here already. Aisha and Lilia's story together is super freaking great, dude. It's literally like the first story of the series that I found the most fascinating because it gets into the idea of, I hate it, but it's what happens. I hate it, but it's what happens. Lilia is so broken, and then this situation happens. She feels she betrays Zenith, and it spirals into this realm of, I need to correct this. I need to make sure that I present Aisha to this boy. This is my redemption. I have to redeem myself by doing this. And she literally grooms her child into this role. There's a side of me that I am bummed because I kind of ship it. I want Aisha to be happy, and it seemed like it was what she wanted. But I am happy and I respect Refugin to go into the realm of the idea of at some point Aisha goes, you know what? I do really love my brother. I think he is the most incredible thing ever. I get why my mom wanted me to serve him so badly. But what about, at some point, what do I want? What do I want? And I assume that's what they were getting into with the idea of how conflicted Aisha seemed towards the later part there with the mercenary band and stuff. What do I want? Rudius allowing her to do what she wants, even though he kind of shackled her with the mercenary band, which I hate still at this point. It's cool. Like, Aisha's character is so freaking fascinating. That story of Aisha is so good. And again, I love all the building of the mercenary band. I like how smart this girl is. All that stuff is so freaking great. I think she is just an absolutely incredible character through and through. God, I love her character. And yeah, Lilia the same way. Again, the whole aspect of her, again, how much Paul, that initial story about her and Paul, dirtbag, dirtbag, and how that just broke her. Paul doing that broke her. And it was, again, another spiral down the hill where she couldn't find somebody. They send her off the palace. The palace is wronging her there. She gets this kind of twisted idea that this is something that she wants now, serves Paul, allows it, gets pregnant, again, trying to undo all that mistake that she did. She's a tragic character. And in the end, she's just doing everything she can to support Zenith while Rudius isn't around and take care of the family and, again, serve them. And it sucks because every now and then they get a little sign there where it's like, I want her to be a mom. Be a mom. Stop being the maid and be a mom. Support Zenith. That's fine, but be a mom. It sucks. Ugh. She's just a tragic character. Literally, this story right here is probably, shoot. I said it earlier that geese. Geese. I said it earlier that Orsted and Paul is like the best side characters of the story. No, Lilia and Aisha. Such a good story. I put that above Paul. I would probably put Lilia and Aisha's story above Paul. God dang. Anyways, Angie, I barely even know her. I'll put down here. No opinion. Angie, again, was the one that he saves from that dragon. No opinion really on it. Ariel. This is hard. I don't want to fill out my S tier with a bunch of waifu characters, but damn, I don't know. No. I'm gonna put it high A for now because I feel like the S tier is gonna get full. People, come on. I feel like the S tier is gonna get real full very quickly. Let's hold on for a minute. I'm gonna keep her an A for right now. But Ariel is a fantastic character. The piss princess. Come on. No, I do like her character though. I think at earlier moments of her story of her being kind of a deadbeat, royalty at some point, kind of getting that encouragement to do that. And again, it not really being an idea that she wanted to be royalty. It's just that she felt a responsibility to those that had lost their life protecting her, that it spiraled into her to having that duty to do that, and eventually finding true purpose in it
and then building into literally going to fight for it, going to gain it. And again, using her charisma and her strength to really kind of push through everything, ultimately standing on top of that podium and pushing against all odds. It's an incredible story. Like, her story is incredible. And then every moment after that, it's really just Rudeus kind of going to her and them having these really goofy exchanges, because I've always loved the chemistry between Rudeus and Ariel. But yeah, I don't know if I want to put an S. She's a great character, though. Etoff, S. No hesitation. I'm sorry. I will admit, a lot of my love for Etoff is just her character, and a lot of it is to do with how freaking badass she is. I'm sorry. I just got done saying that I'm not gonna fill out my S tier, but I'm sorry. I freaking love Etoff's character. Every time she shows up, I'm like, it's Etoff. Damn girl. I'm gonna put her in my S, but I freaking love Etoff's character. I'm sorry. She's great. Again, I love understanding her. Again, like I was frustrated with Bodygotti, I actually understood this character. She is crazy, but she makes sense in the end. Desiring to figure out what it means to be what her father was. It's super cool. I love her character so much. Benedict. God, there's so many good characters in the female side. That sucks. Benedict's character is great too. I don't want to. She's yeah. God, there's like I would admit there's not like much to her character. Like, they didn't get too much in depth with her character, besides, again, that she was, like, you know, born from this demon that came over, an illegitimate child or whatever. But it was a legitimate child, but it was more the fact that she was born off, and how she was seen as a stain, thrown away, and then Pax came along, pulled her out of that. That's it. She's just there, carrying on Pax's legacy. It's heartbreaking as hell, the story, but I won't say that's like a super deep story, but I guess it's also similar to Etoff, but Etoff's got personality there. I don't know. Yeah, she's a great character. Would love to see more about her, but I don't think there really is much else to tell about her story besides what's to come really in the end. Blessed Child's kind of a similar situation. Again, really great backstory to her character. Her being sort of discarded. It's very similar stories between the two of them, but hers more of the fact of being a tool, kept in a cupboard until she's needed and then pulled out. What she kind of provided with Zenith was incredible. And again, obviously a lot of implying later on that she gets into a position where she's able to make demands of the church, which is great. But I like my little thick Blessed Child, my little chunky girl, my little chunky idol. I do like the little chunk. She got a cute chunk to her. Yeah, it's a great character. Great character. So, God, so many great characters in this freaking area. No opinion. Don't know much about her yet. Claire. Claire. I liked the story they did with her, but I do admit that a lot of my frustration with her that chapter is like, girl, open your freaking mouth. I totally thought that she was being manipulated by the man god because of just how she wouldn't open her damn mouth. I don't like her. In the end, I don't like her. I say it's a good story, and again, it's all about family. It's similar to like with the whole Paimon thing. It's all about family in the end, but at the same time, I don't like her. Her personality brings her down. Cleone and Elmoy, where are they at? I have no opinion on the two of them. I just put them in the list for completionist sake. Where's the other one at? It's literally the same scene, so they have the same background and everything. I just zoomed in one too much. Did she not get added? And get her in the other too. She's the assassin chick. I don't have any opinion of you either. There she is. Get out of here. I don't have an opinion of you. Ellen Lace. S tier. And it sucks because she so disappears too. This girl disappears too. It sucks. Like, we get that one scene where she hands it off, the baton pass off to Ghislaine, and then just every now and then shows up with a baby. So wanted more of her. But gosh, what we got of her was so phenomenal. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but the thing that's so incredible about Ellen Lace's character is initially I was like, oh, she's the thirsty elf. I don't care. Like initial impressions of her was that she just wants to bang, and it's like I just don't care for those kinds of characters. I'm sorry, I just don't care. It's like, it's fine, sure, I bang it, yeah, heck yeah. Not like I'm appalled by it. It's not interesting. I just thought she was a thirsty elf, and then again, when Rudeus finds out about the curse, it's like, okay, so there's a reason she's doing it, but she's still doing it because she likes it. But at least it gives her a reason. And that's kind of cool. It's a story reason. Then it gets into the pain that it causes, the truth that she doesn't want to admit. It's the curse itself, and how many children she left behind, how many lives she destroyed, how much conflict she caused because of the curse that she was doing. and ultimately all the, so to speak, rules and barriers she put up for herself in order to avoid conflict, and how she learned how to resolve conflict because of it. And then getting into the story about her originally showing up from the labyrinth out of the gym and having a life in a village and then ruining that life there. And it's just, ugh, it spirals, and the pain and everything. Ugh, it sucks. I love her character. And then getting in the Begret continent and her fighting alongside Rudius, that cemented it, which makes me so angry the anime skipped that. Elise fighting alongside Rudius in the Begret continent, protecting him, defending him. I fell in love with her so freaking hard. I love my girl Elise. Anyways, Elise or whatever her name is, Edis, she's aight. I again, similar to Soldat in that whole situation, I loved her kind of helping out, but again, there's not really much to her character. Edis, easy S tier up here. I put her like right below Aisha probably. Again, I kind of got into it with the whole Volume 6 discussion. I loved getting into her character and her conflict there, and ultimately her sacrificing many years of her life in order to get stronger to stand at his side, ultimately realizing at some point she made a massive mistake in how she worded it because she's not good with words and how to communicate. We kind of see that, obviously, that she's not good at communicating. That's why she used her fists. But yeah, getting into getting with Rudius himself and just struggling over her own strength and anger and wanting to lash out, trying to subdue herself for his sake, which ultimately at some point kind of made me realize, God, this girl, I kind of wish that she would be silly again. It's like the whole thing with the sacred beast. Yes, she's so happy. She's running with the sacred beast. She's so freaking happy. I'm like, I'm happy to see Edis finally being happy for once. This is this girl that was just having so much fun back when they were traveling together. It's like, I want to be happy again. It doesn't seem like she's happy. But yeah, again, fighting against Orsted, facing off against something that seems impossible, all for the sake of Rudius. God, I love her character, and she's got a great personality. She's a tsundere character, fiery tsundere character. Love her death. Ghislaine, again, more so than Elise, I feel like Ghislaine just disappears and it sucks. And she pops back up at the end, which is great. But my gosh, I feel like she just disappears and never pops up again. Again, the whole like separation between her and Elise, and mentioning the fact that she was technically trying to get in with Philip. It seemed like Philip was her last chance to have like a life and a child. It absolutely broke me because that was a different side of Ghislaine than we've ever seen. Back here in the Beastfolk village, she was uncontrollable. Then Galfalion kind of put some strictness into her. She goes off adventuring, but she doesn't know anything about the world, so she gets taken advantage of. She finds Paul. She finds a place. Then she goes off and she loses her place. Gets in with, Ellis to protect her. Seems like she has a family there. Loses that family. Wants to go back and find Edis to protect her. It's like a mixture of duty and just finding a place. There's a duty aspect there, and it's a finding a place. I always felt like Ghislaine's story is trying to find a place. I need to write that down somewhere so when I eventually make my Ghislaine video, I could put that as a title. It's basically Ghislaine, subtitle, trying to find a place. That's her. I want a place where I can be. I love her, though. Very simple words, too. She's a very simple person. She's like a Doga. There you go, Doga. There you go. I figured it out. And she's currently there with him. Doga Ghislaine. I could see it. Doga and Ghislaine, they're both very simple. Yeah. Yeah. It's literally them. Anyways, moving on. Ginger. Ginger. I want Ginger happy. Ginger needs to get with Zenoba. Zenoba's gonna have a harem unless he keeps to the idea of keeping Julia as like a daughter, and then bringing Ginger in. I could totally see that happening. But Ginger, either way, needs to be a if not the only, but a wife of Zenoba. But I just want her to be happy. Ginger. Let's see. I want more of her. I think she's a solid B. I kind of need more of her. I would like a little bit more insight into her. She kind of, again, fitting in with the whole Zenoba store thing and everything, getting cuddly plushes and stuff, but I'd like to see more of her. I don't have any opinion on Goliath. I did get a massive kick out of somebody mentioned the fact that that everything with Geese probably would have never have happened if he just, for sake, if Rudius was introduced Geese to Goliath, none of this would ever happen. If only you fulfilled your promise of showing him to Goliath, None of this would ever have happened. Anyways, Hilda. God, Hilda's like a super tragic story. Hilda's a super tragic story that just has no happy end to it. I mean, there was like a brief moment of having some happiness and losing all of her sons, and then finally having this moment where she embraces Rudius. That she has like this moment of happiness, but this girl was just trying so hard to, just get her family back. She keeps losing her family. Ugh, it sucks. In the end, gets transported to the conflict zone and probably brutally forced upon and murdered. Ugh, sucks. But not enough information, so I'm going to put her B. Isolde, again, Isolde is like a massive like opportunity missed. I mean, it's kind of similar with Nina. Like, Nina and Isolde are two characters that we do get a little bit of. Nina we get more of, obviously, because we get a lot of insight with her. With Gino, we have the chapter where it's her perspective with her and Asura, so we get to see a lot of her mindset there and love. Whereas Isolde is, like, again, similarly at the same time kind of introduced, but with Isolde, we don't really get too much insight into her and her mindset. It's just really her conversations with other people. So I feel like we really should, hopefully, I hope so, get more in the side chapters with these two, because there's a lot of potential in them. And again, a lot of my potential that I see in Isolde's character is post Rada. It felt like she accepted things, but I would really like to see how she came to that conclusion. How did she go from over here, literally watching her master die, to here she's serving the party that literally killed her master? She just accepted it. I think that's a bold thing to have to do. It's a very tough thing to do, but she accepted it. So I want more. Get a little more from her. I would like to see more, though. Still not up there, though. I'd probably just put him down here. In the B. That'd be Julie. Does Julie go in S? Julie, I want to put her in S because she's so freaking cute, but I don't know. She has so many great moments, too. Like, again, the initial meet, how she's literally giving up on life. Rudius brings her in. She finds purpose. She's a little scared at first. Get into her backstory with her parents and how they, eventually were sold off into forced servitude. That was all heartbreaking. Again, the idea of her possibly leaving Zenoba's side, but it wasn't really the case, that she just wanted to make something for him for a gift. And then it turning into that whole thing of her not ever wanting to leave him or him not ever leave her side. It's super cute. Julie's so freaking great. But she never got her Becca suit. I hate it. I'm going to leave her an A. She's super cute, though. I love her to death. Kishirika, I love to death. Again, another one that's it's like Etoff, very much so personality. She's a goofball. She's also somebody that kind of creates chaos, unravels things, reveals things, which is always fascinating whenever time she shows up. I love her. She's a goofball. I don't have anything on Lada other than what we so far have seen, that she's supposed to be this special child, the chosen one. It obviously shows that she's a critical part of what goes on with the sealing of the man god. And that could possibly be what this particular chosen one is supposed to do for this particular period of time. But they never really kind of concrete mentioned exactly what that whole purpose was. And again, another one I'm assuming that eventually in the side chapters we get into. But so far, again, it's her purpose there. Her pushing Roxy to go to PAX. And then her meddling with his bracelet at some point later on. And again, seeing her with Orsted and everybody else at the very end. So a lot more to her character than we've seen with really any of the other ones. Obviously, it's a child of Roxy, so it's an amazing character, but I kind of need more. But I've always been fascinated by her character. I always want to, every time it kind of brings attention to her, which is, it seems like so few times compared to, like, Lucy or something, which is really the only other ones they really have kind of all the children, it's literally most of the time was spent with Lucy and Sieg being carried off to the Divine Continent, but not really so much about Sieg himself. They haven't really spent too much time with any of the kids, which sucks. Lily, again, all we know about is that she takes over the armor development, and she looks cute. Lucy's been a really strong character, and again, I'll put her right alongside Lada as well. Strong character despite how very few times we see them. And again, it's a lot to do with the fact of how much these characters kind of drive Rudius and what they do. They are a driving force. His desire to be their father and help them, which sucks that he does not there much to really get into them. Anyways. Linnea has been a fun character. Again, I put up in the A tier. Always just a fun character to be on scene. Always causing mayhems, along with Persona. Persona and Linnea. I would probably put, as much as I like percent. Where is Percenta at? Do I not have Percenta in here? There she is. Okay. I was about to say, Chad, I told you guys in the Discord to check my freaking list, and I missed this. As much as I actually like Percenta more design-wise, I like my puppy girls. I think, unfortunately, Percenta is very lacking in the story. Because obviously, again, technically she's stuck she's stuck in the Beast Folk village, whereas Linnea stays there and then gets, again, sold to Rudius and becomes a maid and everything. It's just it's never a dull moment with Linnea's on the screen. The comedy around her is just hilarious. She is a fun character. Story-wise, if I think about it, there's not really much to Percenta and Linnea's story besides the fact that they wanted to train to be. They were lazy over here. They were sent there to train. They were, lose all their power so that they can appreciate things more. Come back to the Beast Folk village, but one of them has to duel each other. One goes back, so the other one doesn't have to, get given off to another random guy to have children. And then it just go right into Linnea being sold, her not wanting to be sold, Edis grabbing her, making her the house cat, and that's it. That's her story. There's not much to the story of these characters, unfortunately, but they're fun. They're fun characters. That's really all they are. Lydia, which is again the blessed child of restoration. Real brief moment we had with her is freaking tragic as hell, but it kind of goes along with side with these three. Like, these are the tragic. Like, this is the trio of tragedy right here. The trio of tragedy right here. Let's move her over so we don't have that. The trio of tragedy right here is the blessed child of restoration, the blessed child of sight. I forget what they called her. They just called her blessed child, but I forget if they say what she was. The mind reading, and then Benedict. Like, these are three people that were just tools or just discarded, not seen as purposeful, and finding some sort of purpose at some point in tragedy. So. But unfortunately, not enough around them. Like, this is like, we need some side stories to get more context to these characters. But they're great, though. They're all three great. It's Minotona, right? Yeah, Minotona. Minotona, and where's her? Yeah, her. Minotona, and what was the other one? Tersina. Minotona and Tersina. Or I'm not Tersuna. That's right. I forgot 7C says Tersuna. And Tersuna. I so wanted more of them. I was really hoping that they were going to bring them back with them, because didn't the father say that he could bring one of them back with him or something like that? I so wish that they brought them with them, because I wanted to see more of them. I hope that we get more in the side chapters of these two, because there was a side of me that almost, when they came back and said that Linnea and Percenta became leaders of their tribes, I was hoping that it would actually been them two, and that Linnea and Percenta just did their own thing. But it's fine. I would like to see more of them, but for now, they're just kind of in the know of the opinion area. Nanahoshi. Yeah. Again, I can't get enough about how Nanahoshi is such an opposite of Rudius in so many ways. This is this girl that had everything in her previous life that she wanted. She gets sent to another world. The world itself doesn't accept her like it accepts Rudius. It rejects her, unlike Rudius, and it wants to kill her. And unlike Rudius, she's constantly trying to find a way out and really pushing herself to the limit to try to find that way out. And having these moments where it feels like she gets somewhere and then she falls and she breaks. And then she gets picked back up by somebody, Rudius mostly, falls again and breaks. Gets picked back up, falls and breaks over and over again. Getting to the point where, again, it rejects her so much, it's killing her. And she's like, what was it all for? Like, this girl cannot be happy. And then ultimately, when it comes time to finally get out and the door is open, she can't get through the freaking door. This girl. I loved Nanahoshi's character so freaking much. There was a hope that I had at some point where she would give up. I really was. I was really hoping that she just more focused on finding a cure rather than anything. But again, the world's rejecting her. There's a moment that I kind of wish that she would have ended up confessing to Rudius and being a part of him. I do really struggle with Zenoba's perspective that he believes that Rudius sees Nanahoshi as a sister, which I don't remember if Rudius has ever internally said that, but it has kind of said several times that he finds her beautiful. It never really kind of gets into detail that he's actually attracted to her. Like, he does say in the university that he's attracted to her. Don't get me wrong. But like I want her as a wife. It doesn't really, I don't remember ever having a moment where it feels like he's like, I want her as a wife. But he several times does point out the idea that he knows that Sylvie doesn't seem to like her because of Sylvie's teasing, let's be honest. But yeah, I love her character. Really, really fascinating character. And again, I just love how she's such an opposite to Rudius. She's just an interesting kind of perspective to have in a story of somebody that's trying to enjoy new life, doesn't like it. You have so few isekais where it feels like the characters want to get the hell out of there. Norn, I love her. S tier. S tier easy. Again, opposite to Aisha. She's very much an opposite of Aisha in the idea of one that wasn't given all the talent. She's very normal, is surrounded by brilliant siblings, feels demeaned by it, having a nasty Claire breathing down her neck all the time. I need to make a trash territory. I need to put Claire in a trash territory. I forgot about that whole segment. I mean, it technically gave it a little bit in her perspective chapter, but I don't care. I don't care. Put this chick in a trash can. She changes. She has a redemption arc, but I'm trashing her right now because I'm talking about Norn. I'm putting her in the trash right now while I talk about Norn, okay? You shut up right there, chat. You shut up, chat. Shut up, chat. Norn is incredible, though. Again, fighting against all odds to try to prove herself, to become something. Again, somebody who doesn't really have a leg up and a lot of innate talent and a lot of instilled upon her, and somebody that ultimately builds into something. It's harsh, and it's the same thing with Aisha. It's harsh, but more so with Norn. It's harsh, the idea of somebody being separated from their mother at such a young age and having nothing to look to but a father that's trying to fight to get their family back together, and just sitting on the sideline watching their father as they're trying to put everything together. The whole post-displacement incident for this girl. Overall, Mushoku Tensei is a story of children who just have their childhood ripped from them. Sylvie had her childhood ripped from her. Norn had her childhood ripped from her. Aisha had her childhood ripped from her. All these blessed children, and Benedict, life's ripped from them. Of course, we don't know if Benedict might be a blessed child. Lyria and the blessed child had their life ripped from them. Again, technically Zenoba as well. Because of his strength, his life's ripped from him. It's a story of children with their childhoods ripped from them. Julie, childhood ripped from her. Gosh, can we have children with happy lives? Anyways, moving on. The girl that splashes water on him in the jail cell, no opinion. Receptionist Faristia, no opinion of her. Rada, this is a character I would love to hear more about. I think Rada's story could be super good. Unfortunately, all we get from her is her past, like when she was very young and nearly going to die, and Darius saves her. And in the very end, when she gives everything for Darius and dies for it. But I would love to get more of her story. That would be a good thing to have Isolde tell a story about her. Isolde and Rada's time together. I think that would be a cool story. I think that'd be a really cool story. And that would open the door to us learning more about the Water God style. We got a perspective of quite a bit of, but not as much as the North God style or the Sword God style. Be for now. She birthed Roxy. She's S tier. I'm sorry. Don't know much about her. She's cute. The conflict that she has with her daughters is kind of heartbreaking, though. Roxy, obviously, number one. This is going to be a shock to everybody. I mean, we have like one figure, two figure. We have like, this is hard to do. Roxy display here. Andrew Frank, Roxy, right here. Roxy's with Lada display. Yeah, this from in the earthly right here. Obviously, she's gonna be number one for me. But no, overall, I love Roxy's character through and through. I think her personality, her petite nature, I find her adorable. At the same time, she's a character that has been through a lot. Her whole story about her family and her village overall was something that I think a lot of people have experienced. The idea of the inability to communicate, or at least communicate properly with people around you, and feeling isolated because of it. And that getting into that whole stigma there that she's essentially facing, feeling outcast by her entire village. How much effort her family put into her, despite her, in the end, feeling that she was a burden upon her family and leaving. And then eventually, at some point, going out traveling together, adventuring, facing all the difficulties. Again, as she mentions later on at Fort Karan, the idea of sometimes even having to take lives. As she mentioned in Volume 12, with trying to console Ruius, having times where people died in front of her that she cared about. Ultimately, at some point, trying to seek love and romance and labyrinths, meeting Ruius' family and seeing an ideal family that she aspired to be a part of or whatever. She loved the Grey Rat family. a lot, leading to her actually seeking to try to help them, getting to Pax, and how Pax himself was a failure that she felt of teaching, that should have done more to support him, and how she feels responsible for Pax. What else? Having Lada, almost discarding Lada because she has a trauma of her, experiences with not being able to communicate, almost making a massive mistake there. Again, technically helping out Rudius when he was down and out back when he lost Paul. That whole segment's incredible. I just love her character. She's a very giving person as well. It seems like she's a very giving person when it comes to Rudius, especially. Always trying to, I think what Roxy ends up falling into is the realm of somebody that feels a necessity to live up to expectations, and it's an expectation that is weighing upon her always, which I was kind of surprised they didn't get more into with that, because that was that's my assumption. That's my assumption. But I do feel like she kind of wants to fulfill those shoes that Rudius kind of fills. I mean, I kind of see that with the whole situation with her wanting to help out. And the idea that, you're always talking me up and now you're going to tell me no kind of thing. But I love her. She's adorable. Love her Seiyu too, and from the Japanese, the animated adaptation. Sarah did nothing wrong. This poor girl. I loved her story. I feel like Volume 7 is literally Sarah's story. As much as the anime adaptation didn't want to adapt any of it, I feel like the entire 7th volume is literally her story. I really do feel like she's the most well-wrote character, despite the fact that she's not around for very long. Like, this girl, again, being from a village that gets taken down by monsters, she hates nobles, always has to adventure with them, and they always run away at the first sign of danger. That turns on to Rudius. Eventually, he saves her. She feels like she failed to arouse him and was disgusted by it. Makes the wrong decision of kind of stepping away, wants to do right. He says a stupid crap. She lashes out. She learns the truth. Very simple, but very well wrote, very quick story. And then, of course, later on, bringing her back into the picture, and unfortunately being a little bit too late to recapture his heart. But yeah, I'd put her in like a solid. I almost want to put her in A. Yeah, I'll put her in low A. That's good. Angie, I already put her there. That's okay. Vera and Shira, again, another missed opportunity by the anime adaptation. I really do like these two. Again, getting into their story about the displacement incident, how they were taken advantage of. Everything that she did in order to protect Shira, Vera did, in order to protect Shira, was really fantastic. Kind of, again, putting herself out there. And I like that misconception that Rudius has immediately of it, and how, again, like even anime watchers did, even though unfortunately they didn't tell her story, why she dresses up in bikini armor. It's like, that's literally the whole point. Is she's supposed to be seductive? But yeah, eventually that kind of blowing up in her face and her feeling responsible for Paul and him getting the spout was super cool. And then Shira and Vera's support of them while they were going to the Begarit continent and trying to dive into the labyrinth. I wish they came back to them eventually. That would have been cool to get back to them eventually, but they, again, disappeared. Kind of disappeared. Hopefully some side stuff. But I like their stories. There were solid stories. I'll put them in B. Suzanne, again, another character pretty well rounded in Volume 7. Comes back later to help out Rudius and the new children, all that kind of stuff. She's all right. I'll put her in C. I did like her chemistry with Rudius towards the later parts when she comes back into the picture. I really did like her. Sylphie. Well, I'm gonna put Sylphie as last. No opinion. Savaro I really like. Her and Rudius constantly batting at each other is a lot of fun. I probably put her solid B. Therese, I love her character. I wish we had more of her. Granted, we got quite a bit of her in the Millis continent, or the fight for the Millis continent. She's basically MILF, but not actually MILF. She's like Zenith. She's like Zenith replacement while Zenith's being taken care of. It's like, it works. Looks kind of the same. They both hot. Take it. She's literally like the joke about the woman that'll never marry. But I do like her a lot. I just need more. I just need more of her. Like, I really need more of Therese. I could got quite a bit again with her and the Blessed Child, but not enough. Triss, she's alright. Not that interested in her. Zenith. Zenith is very personal for me. And that's like the compounding factor that is Zenith.
early on, great mom. Like just a bright smile, happiness, everything's great. She's super hot. All that stuff's there. Going right into the displacement incident when we don't ever see her ever again until the moment that we find out that she's actually encased inside of the labyrinth itself. And then upon being released from it, we just have basically a broken mother. And later on, getting the insight through the blessed child, the fact that she's not just a broken mother, but she's a mother that's always there, desperately trying to be there. Damn it! We're doing a tier list and having fun, Andrew. She's a mom that's in her own little world, just having fun with her children and grandchildren, and just being happy, and just wanting the best for her family, and just being without being able to actually express it. It's a shining smile of hope for everything around her. And again, having my own experience personally with people that aren't there and have a similar situation of struggling to be there, getting an insight into the possibility of the what if. Like I said before several times, and it was what it was in that whole segment with the blessed child pointing out what's inside of her. The what if is that they were there and they were always happy and they were always smiling and they were always looking forward to the next thing that their children were going to do. And so I love Linus Gardner. Even though literally because of what she's going through, she can't say anything and there's not really anything happening for her. The story is being told around her. Zenith is a case of a story being told around a mother. That despite all the circumstances, she's there and she wants to be a part of it. That's why I was saying when Marius comes home after the Battle of Pearl Kingdom, I'm convinced she's walking in that door to welcome her boy home. That's it. I'm not talking anymore. That's there. Best mom Zenith. I better get a... He never mentions it. That one sucks. I better get a side chapter. We find out just before Zenith passed away, she finally was 100%. But you know what? That's bold. I have to say it. Refugin bold for... I mean... Rudius got a lot more than most people do with that situation. Again, I never got my dad back. I never got anybody back that has dealt with that kind of stuff. It's it's incurable. Stuff like this, stuff that messes up the brain is... I don't, there's probably something out there. It's not curable. Once the damage happens, once the decay happens, it's not curable. Rudius got a lot more from Zenith than anybody ever does with that situation. He got to see that she's at least there and having fun and enjoying her time. And yeah, Lada apparently communicate. So a lot more than what we were getting with anything else. That's the special thing that he got. And I give Refugin credit for it not being oh yeah, Orsa goes, Rudius, go over here and grab this potion, it'll save her. No, there's no cure. That's it. That's unfortunate tragedy. That's what you have to deal with. Make the best of it. Make her comfortable. That was what it was for me. Making comfortable. Getting back into it. Sylphie, the last one, Sylphie. We talked about this with my tier list at volume 13 that, yeah, a lot of the big Sylphie fans did not like my lack of love for Sylphie. I got kind of heated, especially like how she dealt with the situation with Annalise at the wedding. Something else I didn't really care much for her for. I just wasn't a fan of character. But there was the other side of me that was kind of hoping that it would kind of be a character that was going to be, again, because of everything that she'd gone through, sort of a broken character. Because I do acknowledge that she's a fascinating character, and I got into it with my whole video about her being an unhinged character. This idea of the bottling up of emotions and her being broken as a child, because again, very, very young, she gets displaced, chucked into the middle of the air, falling to her death, nearly dies, gets stuck into a political battle behind the scenes in this palace, and just constantly fighting off assassins, killing, forced to hide her emotions. She's supposed to appear as a boy, this mysterious boy that never talks, always bottling up her emotions. That's not healthy for a child.
And so I was really looking forward to at some point really kind of diving into her character and how that kind of skewed her perspective on emotions and whatnot. Unfortunately, Refugin did not really get into it. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing. Eventually, it does get into, again, her being a wife and a mother, and how her hair color affects how she sees her child and her child's future, which that was that's a gut punch. The fact that, yes, when she gives birth to Lucy, thank God. And it's like, oh God, that sucks. That sucks. This sucks that she's, and I get why she was bullied because of it. But then when Sig gets born, damn it, it happened. What's going to happen? She gets scared. What's going to happen? Is Rudius going to be able to help out here? What am I going to do? What do I need to do? Eventually realizing, oh, that's right. I have people around me. I can trust with other people around me. I have people at my side. We are the wives of the Greyrat family. I love that was kind of the biggest... I'm getting ahead of it here. But going back here, I had my struggles back here, and I was really hoping to get into something there, and that's why I kind of ranked her pretty low. But going into the second half of these 26 volumes, that's where it took a while. But when we got into, like, what was it, volume 21 or whatever, when we got into Sig being born, that's where things really did shift for me a lot. It was actually before then. It was probably around the point where she's done with everything with Ariel, and she tells Rudius that I want to be mom. I want to focus at home. You have Edis. She's gonna help fight at your side. You got protection there. You got Roxy. I want this to be my spot. I want to be the home mom. That's what I want to do. Respectful, massive respect. I'm going to take care of the family. And I do like that there's sort of a semblance here where Sylphie isn't really a mom type of character. I never got a sense of a mom with her. Again, she literally had Lucy and, in turn, Sig for Rudius. He wanted a child. I have to give him a child. It wasn't I want a child. He wants a child. He keeps saying how much he wants me to have a baby. He wants it. I need to give it to him. I need to give it to him. I need to give it to him. It didn't feel like she wanted to be a mom. It wasn't until that point where she decided, I want to be the mom. I think that's the point where she probably became the mother. She built the foundation of what eventually becomes we together as the wives for Rudius support Rudius. And again, I love how later on when she finally is afraid for Sig and what she's going to do, even again at some point, similar to Roxy with Lada, almost feeling like I need to give it up. Like, should I just give this up? Like, what do I do? Like, she almost gave it up. But then realizing I have this around me, which again is what she created, the wives, the sister wives, we together will support each other. Open yourself up for that support. This is what you created, Sylphie. Use it. You created this group. Use it. You have Lilia. You have Edis. You have Roxy. Even have Zenith there to listen to you. She gonna listen to you. Girl Zenith will probably listen to you. Oh, come on here, girl. I'll listen to you. She really did grow on me. She really did develop as a character. But I will admit that most of that was in that Sig moment, that later moment of the christening. That was a massive development for Sylphie's character. But yeah, her as like a waifu character, she's still like nowhere near the top. I'm sorry, I just she's a personality I don't care for. She's a too submissive type, overly passive, I guess. And again, I've always kind of stated before that I felt like Sylphie wasn't a good person for Rudius because she doesn't push back, and Rudius is a character that needs somebody to push back. It's my opinion. So her as like a waifu character, she's like way low on the list, but her as a caricature, she definitely grew way up there. I think last in 13, I was putting her in like airy territory. I still think she's an A character because I think there's so much more that Refugin could have done with her character. I really do feel like Refugin could have done a lot more with her character. I guess technically, if I sit back and think about it, with Roxy, Edis, and Sylphie, he's done technically equally amounts for each of them. I would argue he spent much more time with Sylphie if you add on Fitz. He spent a lot of time with that whole thing. But I almost feel like they each equally had the same amount of time given to each of them. But I almost feel like there's so much more he could have done with Sylphie's character. But in the end, I put her an A. I put her an A. That's it. We did it, folks. We did it. It's been a much longer recording than I thought it was going to be.
But I hope you guys enjoy this. Like, shoot, this is gonna be like a 3-hour long premiere because I hope there's not much to edit here. But anyways, that's it. That's the my tier list of the volume 1 through 26 of the series. I hope you guys enjoyed this whole entire video. Hopefully it was entertaining for you guys. I hope you guys didn't have too many fights in the chat. I hope chat didn't get too many fights in there. But again, like to mention before, thank you again to everybody for your support, your guys' kind words, helping me through this journey through 1 through 26. Again, we'll be going next week, starting into the side chapters, which at this point I'm thinking is pretty much going to probably be Paul stuff. Otherwise, you'll see in a week, and it's going to be fun. Again, what I'm seeing in the side chapters, it looks like it's just getting started. So I hope you guys will join me for that stuff, and as we dive into everything and finish out this entire series. I just feel like it's never going to end. But anyways, yeah, thanks guys for dropping by. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys so much for your support, all your kind words, and yes, thank you everybody that support channel monetary through Patreon, tips, links, super thanks, membership, all that good stuff. But until the next Mushoku Monday, until next week, y'all take care. Happy Mushoku Mondays, everybody. Welcome back to yet another trek to the Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation novel series. We're on Volume 1, Chapter 1, kicking things off from the very beginning. We're going to start all over. I trolled you all. I'm not doing the side stuff. We're going to revisit from the very beginning and go through every single chapter.